Welcome to the Knowledge Entrepreneurs Show, where we celebrate the innovators driving change in the education industry. At Edison OS, we've worked with over 500 knowledge entrepreneurs to turn their EdTech ideas into profitable businesses. Hi, Karun. Thank you so much for taking time out and choosing to be a guest on this podcast with me.
Uh, Thank you so much, Jagmohan, for having me on your channel for this podcast. And greetings to all those who are listening.
I'm sure it's going to be a pleasure. So, Karun, my first question: talk to us about your journey so far. What led you to uh, get into the space of
Mhm.
training, helping people with preparing for competitive exams like GMAT,
Okay.
so on and so forth.
Uh, I think that's gonna be a hell of a story. Okay, so I belong. I was born and raised in Delhi itself, right? And I did my schooling from, I would say, an average school. And initially, I started off as a very bright child, but then somehow time kicks in, and I was one of the average student only. And my parents usually had this complaint, he can do better, he can do better, but मतलब नहीं कर रहा, ध्यान नहीं देते हैं. So, my story would have a lot of interesting stories. I believe you're open to it. So, so
Of
when
course,
I,
yeah.
I finished up with my metric, my grade 10, so my father asked me that, dude, आपसे ना science नहीं होगा, so you better go for commerce. So I said, okay, no problem. So what I did, I went to school, and there was this register kind of thing, and there you used to write your name. Either it's for the commerce, or you go for science, or you go for arts, anything you write. So I knew somewhere back on the mind, before I was completing my 10th, I knew that I have to be an engineer. मेरे को engineer ही बनना है. I went there. I straight away picked the science section register, and I put my name there. And after like 15-20 days, when the sessions started, so obviously we had to go with our parents. My father went uh, to shop, and we used to buy books. So wahan pe I started I want this physics book, and I want this chemistry, and this maths. And my father said, wait, what? So no commerce. Man, no, I'm not going to do commerce. I'm not meant for it, right? So my passion for science was always there. And as I told you, somehow I knew that engineer he hai. So again, I was not a very great student. I was an average student. I participated in sports as well, so I played a lot of competition. I started with, I played badminton, so we won gold medal for zonal competitions. I participated in table tennis zonal competitions. So we played hockey nords on CBSE. I've played, right. So more of more if into everything, not just the study material. So I was good at physical education as well. I was the topper in my school. So it was good. The journey was good. So once I was done with my CBSE thing, and then I went for my engineering. So I joined Amity University for my engineering. I did my mechanical engineering from there. Again, a good 4 years, a lot to learn, and did quite like, again, I was kind of a sports material over there also, right? But somehow things didn't work out, so I met with an accident, and things started going like here around. So after that, I don't know what came into my mind. So I was given this opportunity to join Larsen and Toubro, right? So I joined Larsen and Toubro as in GET, and I worked at the Indira Gandhi International Airport T3 terminal. It was being built by JMR, so L&T was their subcontractor. So I worked there for you won't believe, I just worked there for like 2-3 weeks, and as I resigned.
You did your
I did
civil
my
engineering,
mechanical
is it?
engineering. Right. So I was
Okay.
there in HVAC department. So after 3 weeks, I resigned, and my manager was like, "Dude, what's wrong with you? People don't get LNT so easily, and you are leaving it." So there
Yeah.
were some reasons, even though I was offered a good position in Oman. So LNT has built Oman airport, right? So I was being offered that position, that you can go there, and but again, my parents and I was not. I would say I was reluctant to go to a Saudi country at that point of time. Maybe family reasons and all. I
Right.
then resigned. I don't know what
Yeah.
happened, and I resigned. People were like, "Hey, LNT, dude, LNT." So it's okay. uh, After that, I prepared. I took a break and I prepared for engineering services. So I did this UPSC thing. So I gave myself good 1 year and I prepared for it. And uh, I didn't clear it, but it was good experience. I would say it's a very good experience. It was challenging as well at the same time. And I just,
Right.
as far as I remember, I think I was lagging only on 22 or 20 marks in clearing my engineering services.
Okay.
So after that, since gate was one not thing, was not my frame कि मेरे को gate नहीं करना यार, everyone's gonna do gate and getting into PSUs and all is not my thing. Either it's engineering services or nothing. And I think that was a mistake, which I believe. After that, since uh, I couldn't take gate, so I wanted to do my masters. Right. So there's this very famous
Right.
university. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's Thapar University in Patiala. So it's one of the
Okay.
best colleges in northern India part. So I did my graduation, post graduation from there, and they had this
Mm-hmm.
exam sort of thing. So I think I was in top 10, all India. I secured a rank, top 10 rank, and then I was offered a production engineering, masters in production engineering. I did my masters from there, and post that
Mm-hmm.
I joined an engineering college in Greater Noida. So I joined them like as an assistant professor in mechanical engineering department, and I taught like
Right.
so many courses: machine design, fluid mechanics, NDT, and I was also appointed as the head of manufacturing lab. And I was like
Right.
taking, I had this responsibility of organizing workshops for the students, and I was chosen as the head panelist over there, where I had to prepare final year students for their major product presentations and vivas. So I pretty
Right.
much indulged myself into research work. So I published 3 papers during that time, and I independently wrote one more research paper. Right. So after that,
Mm.
my passion has always been to help others on traveling on the like someone who is on academic path now. So my passion was to I want this
Right.
guy, like if I can in any sort help him, so I'm on it, right?
Mm.
So working towards
Right.
this goal,
Right.
I joined an organization in New Delhi, which quite famous, where I started training students for like the quantitative sections, quant sections for GRE, GMAT,
Right.
SAT, ACT, APs. At that point of time, we used to have SAT level two. So I taught SAT level two. In fact, my first student, so my first stint as this trainer came. Uh, so when my boss, actually what happened was, once I was done with my masters now, so even I was planning to go out.
Mm.
I was planning to pursue my
Okay.
doctorate from USA, and I somehow got the admission
Mm-hmm.
also. Matlab, I got the admission part, but somehow I didn't go. Some issues were there, so I didn't go. So I had that time कि यार नहीं, something is wrong, मतलब क्या चल रहा है life में. So disheartened sort of thing. So my the boss, I would
Yeah.
say the boss, where I trained, actually I trained from this organization only for my GRE prep and IELTS prep and all admissions part.
Right.
But somehow I was not able to go. So he said ki,
Right.
I know you are a good teacher and I know you've been like, you have taught as an assistant professor, you've been doing good with your, so let's do one thing, please teach some students for me. So I was like, नहीं सर मेरे से नहीं हो पाएगा, I'm sorry. So he's like, नहीं 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 यार तू कर लेगा, please एक बार देख ले. So I was given this one student, um, I had to teach him level 2 physics, right? And while I was
Right.
teaching, I
Right.
was given, actually I was given 25 hours of teaching. So I have to wrap up his course, take all the doubts in 25 hours. Within 25 hours I have to wrap up his course. But straight away I told him, sir, nahi, 34
Okay.
35 hours I require. So he said, I cannot pay you. I don't want your pay, I don't want your income. So
Mm.
it's just that you pay me what we have taught initially, like हमने जो बात की है. And so I taught him like for 34 35 hours, and out of 800, that guy gave me 760. And this boss of mine
Wow.
was,
Okay.
he was like, oh, what have you done, Manala? That's my thing, right? So from there only, like then I was offered a position for quant. After quant, I was also taking vocabulary classes, and by the time I left that organization, that was, I think, during the COVID era. So I was
Right.
taking a lot of things. I was helping them with the admissions. I was helping classes for their SAT classes in GD Goenka. I was helping them with the vocabulary classes. I was heading their quant faculty. So after that, I thought कि नहीं यार कब तक दूसरों के लिए है ना, and more of कुछ चीजें like there are some things that don't click, right? Even though it was a very experience, I would say very good experience. I've learned a lot of them from them, and I'm grateful to them. But some things don't click, uh, like
Right. Right.
their
Right. Yeah.
methodology, their style, that was not matching mine, right? So at that
Right.
point of time I thought ki nahi yaar, I have to do something of my own, and that was before I left. Somewhere in the back of the mind, like for a year and a half, it was there कि नहीं अपना कुछ करेंगे और कुछ अलग तरीके से करना है, क्योंकि अभी जो चल रहा है वो बहुत डिफरेंट है, जो मैं चाहता हूँ उससे बहुत डिफरेंट है. And then I came up with this
Hmm.
Prepster. So Prepster, by the way, means someone who is preparing for something, right? So Prepster,
Yeah.
right,
Like
right.
hipster.
So I had this name बहुत पहले से, before even I yeah. So
It's a cool name.
I was
Yeah.
like I'll give it a name which actually means something, right? So I gave it a name, and in July 2020, I like in June or May, I wrapped up the classes and I left, and it was a good Tata bye bye. कि ठीक है sir, thank you. We are on good paths and good to go.
How
Uh,
many years were you there after your
I
assistant
was
professor
I
stint?
was there, I think, for three and a half years. Good three and a half years. I worked for them, and
Oh, an assistant professor
I
stint
think
was
it
for.
was 1 year only, 10 months or 1 year, because it was quite far away, and also I was getting into my
Right. Right.
whole
Right.
doctorate thing, so I needed time for myself, research and all. So I left that thing
Right.
also.
Right.
After that, only when I left, after within a month, this my boss approached me, and I was there, and I joined them also. So
Your boss, when you say, you
the
mean to say
institute,
from
yeah.
that
No,
assistant
the
professor
organization
college?
that I joined.
Oh, the
So that
okay,
was my
okay, got
first,
it.
I would say, the
Okay,
first stint as a trainer, be it for SAT, GRE. I was taking like I don't know how many.
so there was some connection when you prepared for this
Yeah,
USA post
I
graduation.
took classes from that institute only for my GRE, and I
Got
did
it,
my admission
got
stuff
it,
from
got
there
it, got it.
also.
Yeah,
So तब से
got
वो
it,
मेरे को
got it.
जानते थे, and I knew that guy. He was a very cool guy. Very मतलब I still like he's a top for me. He's a good guy. So after that, July 2020, I started up with my whole thing. Prepster education comes into the play.
Prepster,
Yeah,
right? Great. Quite a roller
very
coaster journey,
uh,
I should say. Yeah. And one of the common things, right? I've spoken to, I think, three GMAT trainers so far, or let's say anything that needs any foreign
yeah.
education training, right? All of these people, not all of these people, at least
Mhm.
one other person, right? He had the same story as to, there comes, when you establish yourself in an academy teaching SATs,
Mhm.
ACTs, whatever it is, you master it yourself, and then you see a certain way ahead, and the academy or the institute just
Yeah.
sticks to their own old thing and they don't evolve. And I think that's where
Yeah.
trainers kind of move away when things are not going. And
Mhm.
and I see that the same thing I think has happened with you also. You felt it didn't align
Even though
and stuff like
it
that.
was a good experience,
But
again I'm saying,
yeah,
but like initially when like you're talking about doing your own thing. So initially when I started working for them, so I had this job profile of not only teaching the students. So even I've had this
right.
opportunity to make the new handout materials, the questionnaires and the books that should be referred to, right?
Mm,
एंड एज यू सेड कि उसके
mm,
लिए
mm,
डूड
mm.
बहुत मेहनत करना पड़ता था. मतलब आई रिमेंबर माय वर्किंग आवर्स फॉर लाइक 8 hours, एंड आई यूज्ड टू लाइक इनिशियली व्हेन आई वाज नॉट टेकिंग सो मेनी क्लासेस. उसके बाद तो मैंने मतलब
Right.
आई डोंट नो आई हैव टॉट more than 5,000 6,000 students for them only. So usme four or five
Wow.
hours were for like making questions, like solving questions to like get the trick out of it, or making a shortcut for the students, or coming up with something funny. So I believe that these training sessions, especially I take quant sections, right? So quant is most feared subject. ठीक है. As opposed by
Right.
I might be opposing some of your previous podcasters, right? Yeah.
Verbal.
So not exactly, not everyone is good at maths, right? So people have this, especially people from background from like they don't have science background, right? So 10th के बाद सर अब नहीं होता, बड़ी मुश्किल से किया था, अब उसके बाद नहीं होता, and somehow what goes around comes around. Justin Timberlake, right? So they had to deal with maths again, जो जिसके लिए छोड़ा था उन्होंने, और वही वापस आ गया कि भैया जीआरई जीमाट करना है तो you need maths, right? So maths already a feared subject. Also, see, you have already known now that GRE GMAT, GRE is comparatively, I would say, easy, but GMAT is quite a good exam. Like it tests you to core of your knowledge, right? So
Okay, okay.
वो उसको प्रिपेयर करवाने के लिए स्टूडेंट्स के लिए काफ़ी मेहनत करना पड़ता है, राइट? एंड दूसरा ये है कि
Hmm,
अगर मैं
hmm.
अगेन अगेन इफ आई एम डूइंग द सेम थिंग दैट अदर ट्रेनर्स आर डूइंग, सो माई क्लासेस आर फन. So my funda was in, if a student is sitting in my class and after the class he like walk out like smiling, he'll come out the class like smiling, यार what a session, यार मजा आ गया, आज आज मजा आया पढ़ने का. So I wanted my classes to be fun rather than being core. मेरे को नहीं चाहिए यार, मैथ्स
Yeah.
ऑलरेडी एक फियर्ड है, मेरे को बच्चा और डर रहा है, उसके बाद फिर मैं उसको और डरावने क्वेश्चन करवा रहा हूँ उसको. सो आई हैड दिस मेथोडोलॉजी, लाइक एवरीवन हैज देयर ओन मेथोडोलॉजी ना,
Right.
सो आई बिल्ड दिस मेथोडोलॉजी दैट माय क्लासेस आर फन. So I
Right.
think this methodology only helped me a lot. So I built a repo very fast. Like I was quick in building repo with students. Within 2 3 class, people like students were like friends to mine. They were, sir, अरे sir ऐसे कर लेते हैं, sir वैसे कर लेते हैं. So I was fine with it.
Great, great. So, when when you say, you made a decision to kind of, so you quit your job of being an assistant professor, and then you were going to take a break mainly to prepare for your
Yeah.
PhD and all those things. And that's when you were approached by your boss from the same academy where you studied. So it happened like this, and then I see how that would have gone. But after three and
Yes.
a half years, right? Now you certainly didn't have a plan of becoming a full-time
No.
trainer and stuff like
Yes.
that. It was an
Yeah.
accidental thing, right, when you started off. At which point in
Mm-hmm.
that 3.5 years, I'm sure the 3.5 years, at some point you would have a lot of thoughts would have crossed that, okay, probably, this looks a
Mm-hmm.
little lucrative. And when you become comfortable with something, when you become a little, little more better at something, you tend to pursue that
Mm-hmm.
and become a master, right? Because it's so comfortable to do
Mm-hmm.
something where you're really good at. So at what point did that transition happen from, okay, I'm just doing this for side, to, oh, I think this might be a good career option for me?
See, as a career option, I was during this three and a half year of stint. So, not as a stint, I was I would say I kind of in our language we say kind of became an expert sort of thing. I don't believe myself to be an expert,
Hmm, hmm.
first of all, right? So, and first of all, money was as you were mentioning that it's lucrative or something. So money was not agenda for me, right? My passion
Okay, okay.
was again, as I told you that my passion was to help students. I wanted to help especially those students who are
Right,
weak at
right,
maths, right? So if in
right,
any way I can help them, so not just I was hearing frequent thanks from the students and the smiles from the parents. They seem to be like pats on my back, right? So these
right,
experiences, I would say, helped me to build my character, right? And it helped me to build my
right,
leadership quality. It helped me to transform into a
right,
more patient, I would say, flexible and a responsible person.
right,
So I thought of myself, or it proved me that I have this ability to influence and contribute to their future. So I recall many students who are still in touch with me, like 4 5 6 years back. They were being taught by me, and they are still in touch. Some of them are like they are doing their they have already done their masters, they are settled in US, UK,
right,
Canada. Someone some Most of
right,
them have gone to very good colleges. I know still my students are who are in Carnegie, who have gone to Columbia. One student who specially called me to tell me that, sir, I got a very good quant score, and all thanks to you. And he, I think, went to Stanford. So I think
right,
money part was not that important, right? Money part,
right, right. Got it.
again, when I started my this venture, Prepster. So again, money was not the only thing that I wanted. As I told you
Right.
that I had different mindset, I had different ideas that I wanted to incorporate,
Mm,
and that I can do only in my
mm,
organization. See, this is my organization.
right.
This will be run by me, so I can do what I want, which I
Right.
cannot do over the other organizations, right? So my
Correct.
mission
Correct.
or my main funda was to help others. Like I wanted the student to
Right.
smile.
Right.
At the end of the day, he would say, "Okay, sir,
Right.
thanks a lot. It was great. The classes were great. I was it was great to be in touch with you." And I somehow knew that I don't know if students remember me now or not, but I back of the mind I know somewhere uh, I might be like I believe I'm credible for their success, right? Even though student doesn't give me that
Yeah.
part, but I say he was one of my students, so and he's happy, he's settled, he got what he wanted,
Right.
right? My major
Right.
aim was to get him into his dream university. After that, it's his career
Right.
that he wanna take forward.
Got it. Got it. Great. So the transition really happened when you started getting the feedback from students, and the way you felt about helping
Right.
students, and then that's probably what you'd consider as the turning point for you. That's actually what kind of drew you to this domain, much more than you becoming better at it, or
Right.
the money and all those things. Got it, Karan. Great. So now, okay, you spoke to me about that, and then you said 3.5 years in that
Hmm.
institute. The reason you started your own was to kind of so that
Yeah.
you could do stuff on your own. But that's fine, that's a
Hmm.
valid reason, no doubt about it. But at the
Hmm.
end of
Hmm.
3.5 years, right, the moment you during the time when you
Hmm.
decided, okay, you know what, things are not working here, it's not
Yeah.
clicking, I'll start my own thing. I'm sure you would have settled into a certain amount of money flowing in and stuff like that. You would have had
Yeah.
commitments, obligations, and stuff. And obviously, like anybody else, when
Hmm.
you are starting on your own, there will be those jitters and stuff like that. It's not like you had money parked in the
No.
bank and it didn't matter, right? It
Yes.
money mattered to
Yes.
you, right? You had to do
Yeah.
a proper thing. You
Right.
couldn't afford to fail, right? So how was that whole situation? How
Hmm.
did you plan for that? Did you have
Hmm.
savings, or how did you build Prepster from
Hmm.
scratch? Was it word of mouth?
Okay.
Can you walk us through that, the transition from the three and a
Right.
half years to starting
So,
Prepster?
see, I would not say that I had plenty of money in the bank, parked in the bank, and I was using it. So I had my some of my
Mhm.
savings, which I totally invested within
Right.
6 7 months. I invested all of my savings. I was by the way, I was earning pretty well over there, right? So
Yeah.
uh, I had the savings, and I started with Prepster. I started with just taking the quant sessions for GRE, GMAT, SAT. So my main aim was
Right.
let's do what I'm very good at. So I constantly keep hearing that,
Mm.
sir, you're a good teacher, you're a good teacher. So you make students score well. So I was like, nee, theek hai. It's just that I do my part, you do your part, which is hard work. You do it and you succeed, right? So obviously,
Right.
I spent a lot of money. I started Prepster in July and December, January. By the end of Jan, I was like all of kind of bankrupt of my own. Right, right.
Zero.
And
Got it.
I just enrolled like three,
Right.
four students initially, and that too I
Okay.
was
Okay.
running these campaigns and all. But see, I was very famous in the previous organization. People used to come taking the name Karun sir se padna. If he's teaching, I'll be taking the classes. But this thing never happened with Prepster. No one knew what is Prepster and who the hell is Karun, right? So there was a
Right.
phase that when you are spending a lot, you are trying a lot, you are trying different combination, different things, permutations and all, but it's not working out. But somehow I believe that
Right.
persistence is the key. Like you don't have to give up. ठीक है, जिस दिन you give up ना तो उस
Right.
दिन तो डामाडोल हो जाएगा सारा काम, राइट? बैकिंग उसके बाद माय
Right.
फादर, बिजनेस बैकग्राउंड है हमारा, सो माय फादर इज अ कॉन्ट्रैक्टर इन डिफेंस सेक्टर. So he started backing me. He don't worry. But initially he was skeptical that, are you sure you want to quit your job? It's quite good. It's getting paid. No doubt it's a COVID time, so everyone is getting paid less. So I was like, "No, it's not just about
Yeah.
getting paid less or getting less students, more students. I don't care about that. It's just that I want
Right.
something of my own, and I've thought it. Like some here that Jagmohan,
Right. Right.
3.5 years, maybe I could have worked with them for 10, 15 years, right? 15 years के बाद भी I
Yeah.
had to quit and do something my own, right? So I thought, why
Yeah. Yeah.
take
Yeah.
10 years? So during that time, these 10 years would be very precious for me. This time is very precious for me. Why not do something of, why not build Prepster in these 10 years, right? So
Right.
backing came, the money came from my parents, right? So they helped me a lot, and I told them that I'm, don't worry, just invest on me. I'm your derby horse, I'm gonna win it. So just invest on me. So they like trusted me, and every Indian parent and most of the Punjabi family, they're like, yeah,
Right.
theek hai. And I'm the only child. So they were like, chalo theek hai, if you think you will succeed, so I'm there for you. So उसके बाद धीरे 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 students started coming, and most of my students came from word of mouth only, and especially from those students who already gone for their masters or their undergrads. So their cousins, their brothers, small brothers, little younger brothers, sisters, or their neighbors or their friends, they started inquiring and all. So that is how
Yeah.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
I started getting admissions and all. So I was again, I was just dealing with the quant section. So at some point of time,
Right.
I wanted ki, let's so my aim was my next step in this direction would be, I thought ki, why not give the whole course. Let's give them a comprehensive program, or a custom made tailored program, so that a student can get each and everything at one doorstep. So we
Right.
started like, we hired faculties. I hired faculties for verbal section also. We hired faculties for IELTS.
Mm.
So we started giving the complete
Mm.
sessions, right? Again, we started getting results. Students started getting good results, right? Again, they started getting
Mm.
references. We got, I think, the first year itself, I got around 10 to 15 references only. So I
Wow.
think,
Okay.
because I knew somewhere back of the mind I had the key, I'm on the rat track, because if I'm getting all these things, so I might be doing what they want. See, स्टूडेंट को क्या चाहिए होता है?
Right.
स्टूडेंट वांट्स कि उसका जो प्रॉब्लम है, वो कोई इजीली से प्यार से हंसी मजाक से उसको सॉल्व कर दे. So that is what my classes are, as I told you, right? So students were getting them, and I
Mm.
was
Mm.
getting
Mm.
the results. ठीक है.
Right.
And again,
Right.
money, yes, money is very important to meet your ends, but again, I am one of those trainers, you won't believe, Jagmohan. So I have this thing, and I still have this offer. So if you get me a particular score in your test, on your test, be it GRE, GMAT, SAT, so what I'll do is, the your the exam fee would be paid by Prepster Education. So I'm one of those trainers
Wow.
who is
Okay.
ready to do that stuff, irrespective कि मेरे को उससे पैसा और निकालना कैसे है. ठीक है, I'm ready to spend on them, because
Mm.
if they give me what I want, I'll be more than happy. See, I don't work for money. Again, I'm saying I don't work for money. I work for the
Right.
name. I'm working for this brand Prepster, which I want to build. That I want the students to be a success story. I want
Right.
my Prepster Education's website and my pamphlets all over with students with high scores. That is it. Money is not, I would say, yes, important, not that important. Because I've seen a lot,
Got it.
right? And people say, sir, how come you have transitioned इतनी सारी चीजें की है? So again, मैं उनको भी, I give this suggestion as well कि dear, do what your mind says, your heart says. ठीक है, listen to both of them, and go for what your passion. What's your passion? Just look for it. It's just that, for example, students
Right.
are coming nowadays. Students are, sir, I want to go in for MBA. So my simple question is, why MBA? And they are blank. They have no idea why MBA, but it's just that everyone is doing it, so it's highly payable. So that is why I'm gonna MBA. So nahi bhaiya, it's if you are going for that, nahi, MBA is not for you. ठीक है. It The study has to be passion. ये आपका एक पैशन होना चाहिए.
Right.
एक स्टूडेंट आता है, बहुत बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स आते हैं, सर कनाडा भेज दो. तो माय फर्स्ट थिंग इज, आर यू गोइंग फॉर स्टडीज और डू यू वांट टू सेटल? Because if you want to settle, so we'll work in that direction. If you want to go for studies, so
Right.
I'll make sure you get the best university, you get the best thing, right? So always go for your passion, follow your heart, do what you feel like.
Right. Right. Great. Karun, another thing was you said you started
Yeah.
Prepster in July 2020, which was the peak of the pandemic,
Yes.
the lockdown and stuff. And I the 3.5 years that you were teaching in this institute, I think it was classroom training,
Yes,
right?
it was more of yes. Some
It was
classes were
class.
online because I've taught students
Okay.
from different continents also. Some students were in Saudi, some were in UK. I was taking their
Okay.
online
Okay.
classes. Most of the classes were happening in
Okay.
the classroom things only.
Got it. But when you started Prepster, it was a
Yes.
completely
So see, it
online
was
company.
as you told, it was the peak of the pandemic, and no one wants to get out, right? And at that
Yeah.
point of
Yeah.
time, I enrolled only two students. I pretty much remember. So I enrolled two students within a month or two.
Hmm.
So since we were having no more students and no more, see, everything was. Everyone was confused whether to go or not. What's happening? Admissions हो रही है नहीं हो रही है बाहर जा पाएंगे
Right.
नहीं जा
Right. Right.
पाएंगे तो everything went back there. But some students they made up their minds that जो भी है कभी भी ठीक होगा हम जाएंगे. So I remember I took their classes
Right.
for like around 3-4 months. Even though it took me like it
Right.
takes me around 1.5 months for SAT and all, so I can wrap up the courses with good scores.
Right.
But I was like आप भी फ्री हो
Right.
ठीक है मैं भी आपको अच्छे से टाइम दे पाऊंगा. So I took their classes for around 3-4 months, and they both students ended up scoring 1450 plus, which I would say was terrific. My first two students scoring 1400, 1450 plus. I was too happy.
Great. The reason I asked you that was, you didn't when you started Prepster, it was completely online. You didn't have to go hire a place, no rent and stuff like that. But still, you
Right.
were talking about investments. Just for people to be aware, even
Mhm.
though it is an online business, where for what are the reasons you
Okay.
needed money for? Where did most of the money go? And how did you acquire students?
So most of the money went to the branding stuff and the marketing stuff, right? So since I was a new
Right,
brand,
right,
I was something new in the market. Like Apple was not within a day, right? So Apple took years to build.
right.
So same, I believe,
Yeah,
Prepster education knew, no one knew Prepster, no one knew Karun sir कौन है, ठीक है. And
right,
the worst
right.
part was कि जो students थे जो even they wanted to help, but they cannot help me. Why? Because एक तो pandemic, first of all the pandemic thing was there. Secondly, they've already started, no, so why
Yeah,
would they enroll themselves again, right? So
correct.
most of the things was going for branding part, like building things, uh, the legal documents for the company, the organization. uh, Acquiring students was mostly done by initial 2-3 months. I pretty much relied on the marketing thing, which I would say never paid me off. I invested a lot of money in that, but all in vain. I Yes,
The ads
yes,
on social media,
yes,
you mean to
yes.
say Facebook ads,
Instagram,
Google ads.
social media like Facebook, Google Ads. It never paid me well, right? So, but it
Right,
was I would say getting those 3-4 students out of it was a kickstart to me. See, in EdTech company, what happens
right.
is most of the business is coming through referral systems. So, marketing and I don't know people if they are getting good numbers or they are getting good conversions from the marketing or branding thing. So, I wish them like they're very lucky enough, right? But most of the times in most of the EdTech companies, what happens is your referral system is very strong, right? For example, if I am getting 100 leads out of marketing, this guy, I hired this marketing team, so they were giving me, for example, 100 leads in 2-3 weeks, for example. So as I am the owner, I was only like handling the business, so I had to make calls, I had to schedule classes, I had to take classes, I had to see ki what budget goes into the marketing thing, what branding needs to be done. So
Yeah,
everything pretty much was being handled by me only. So one man army, right?
right, right.
So secondly उसमें क्या हो रहा था कि मार्केटिंग का तो पैसा बहुत जा रहा था. 100 लीड्स आ रही थी, सो कॉलिंग करने के बाद जो सीरियस कैंडिडेट्स दे वर लाइक अराउंड 5-6 कैंडिडेट्स ओनली. इवन दो अगेन सम ऑफ योर
Right.
पॉडकास्टर्स हैव सेड कि 15-10% का कन्वर्जन रेट है. अगेन डूड वेरी गुड फॉर देम. मेरे को नहीं मिला, ठीक है. So it's very hard marketing me. See, simple logic. If for example you, Jagmohan, you plan that I'm gonna go for MBA, I need to prepare for GMAT, and let's say I saw this ad of Prepster education, I'm gonna contact this guy. So you have no knowledge about me, you have no knowledge about my teaching skills, you haven't heard of my name initially, right? Why would you invest a
Right.
particular
Right.
amount of money, right? You would not.
Correct.
So building
Correct.
trust in the
Correct.
audience
Yeah.
is the very important factor, right? I would say building
Yeah.
trust took me around 1 to 2 years. ठीक है, ट्रस्ट बिल्डिंग मेरे को 2 साल लग गए आराम से. एंड मोस्ट ऑफ दिस थिंग कम्स फ्रॉम योर रेफरल. अब फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगेन आई एम सेइंग कि आपका मार्केटिंग ठीक है, इवन इफ योर मार्केटिंग इज वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग एंड यू फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू गॉट 10% कन्वर्जन आउट ऑफ 100, राइट? बट आई वुड से कि इफ समवन इज
Right.
गिविंग यू अ रेफरेंस एंड दे नो कि अरे सर अच्छा पढ़ाते हैं, मैं
Mm.
इनसे पढ़ा हूँ, मेरा स्कोर भी अच्छा है एंड ही इज गुड, so that reference is kind of 100%. So that student comes at, not say
Right. Right.
100%, that student is like 90% already enrolled, but he just wants to talk and make sure कि सर आप मेरे को करवा दोगे ना, अच्छे से हो जाएगा ना सब कुछ. So that 10% is like when you talk to them. So I would say conversion जो है rate any
Right.
date, any specific day you put, referral system is always working. I
Right.
currently, मानोगे नहीं, मेरा जो रेफरल सिस्टम स्टार्ट हुआ दैट वाज इन
Right.
2021. So one of my student who was already studying in USA, he did his masters from UT Dallas. So he contacted me and he said, "Ki, sir, my sister and my fiance wants to like come to America. Can you help them with this admissions process?"
Mm.
So I was dealing with prep only at that time, and even though I had a good sound knowledge of admissions, I was like, "यार, scrutinize, मेरे को screening करनी पड़ेगी. I don't like do admissions for everyone, right?" So I have to,
Mm.
as a
Mm. Mm.
counselor, I have to make sure that if you're coming to me for something, so if I'm able to deliver it, only then I'll enroll you. Otherwise I'll say कि नहीं, I can't help
Right.
you out. There are so many organizations which can mint
Mm.
money from you, right? I don't do it. So आप
Mm.
उनके पास
Mm.
चले जाओ.
Mm.
So I tried with them, even though her fiance didn't get admission. Even उनको मैंने बोला भी था, उन्होंने टॉप यूनिवर्सिटी अप्लाई किया, उन्होंने प्रोफाइल नॉट दैट ग्रेट, इवन दो मैं प्रोफाइल बिल्डिंग कर भी दूंगा, सो नॉट दैट ग्रेट. So he said, "Sir, I'm gonna take a chance. Don't
Mm.
worry."
Mm.
And her sister got like
Mm.
two admits. So after that, there was like flurry of students. I had so many students. So he gave me around, I would say, in that 3 4 months only, he gave me around 8 to 9 references, and that those 9 references gave me like per reference at least gave me 2 references. Then it's a progression. It's
Wow.
progression, right? So it exponentially grows.
Right.
So now I'm still in touch with that guy and the students who got admit. So yes, reference system is always like working. It did wonders for me. Currently even अगर मैं कहूँ तो
Right.
अभी मेरे पास जो स्टूडेंट्स आए जितने भी हैं उसमें से 80% आई वुड से आर रेफरेंस. I pretty much I'm one of
Right.
those
Right.
guys. Again, I told you I try each and everything as I did my in life, right? Each and everything I'll try and go for it, and then I'll pick the best option. So for me the best option still working for
Right.
me is references. So if you are delivering something, if you are delivering scores, if you are delivering good universities, if you are helping them in any way, so always you'll get good numbers. Marketing is not my thing. Like marketing, अभी अगर मैं कहूँ तो marketing is just 10 to 20%. That too just is the branding thing. So I just run ads for just to show
Got
Prepster
it.
Education is a name and someone knows कि हमारे scores हैं. That is it. I don't like go for lead generation from that thing.
Got it. Got it. Karan, totally agree with you. And even the people that I've spoken to before, who are in the
Mhm.
GMAT training scene, it may vary a little bit, the leads they get from marketing, but trust me, most of them swear by
Correct.
referral system. Because I'll tell you what I've realized after having spoken is that there's a clear difference between solopreneurs like you
Mhm.
taking up teaching and then the academies or institutes that are teaching, right?
Mhm.
I mean, nothing against them, but that's what it is. Because
Right.
you own this, and that
Mhm.
is a business at the end of the day.
Mhm.
This is also a business, but it's a
Right.
slightly a different model. And people come for that particular
Yeah.
person, like Karun, or Mega
Right.
or Aditi,
Right.
whoever it is, right? They come for that. They come searching for
Mhm.
that person. And in fact, one of the interesting topics that I'd later would like to bring it on is the and you already said you've hired people for verbal and the other sections. A lot of people are kind of in a dilemma
Mhm.
as to how to scale it up because people
Mhm.
are coming for them. They do not want to pass on
Mhm.
the mantle to somebody else, and then because it's going really great and stuff like that. But anyway, about your referral thing, I don't think
Mhm.
there's much to disagree. And I think people listening, if they are new, as you said, you took 1 or 2 years easily to build that trust,
Yes.
only then it kicked on. It's all about finding that one person, and the person that you said
Yes.
from the US who was
Yes.
referring his fiance. That's a nice,
Yeah.
very motivating story. It seems very less, but he
Mhm.
refers two people, then
Yeah.
he refers another eight, and then each one is so
Yes.
exponential it blows away. And coming back to your marketing thing,
Mhm.
you said you're not a marketing guy. I don't know. These are
Mhm.
things I'm just realizing. Marketing, I think, only works for certain things. I don't think education will
Mhm.
ever thrive, especially when people are self-motivated. Now there are
Mhm.
two kinds of education, right? Now the people who come for GMAT, they're not being
Yes.
pushed by their parents.
Yes.
Whereas, in the degree side, there is 150-50. The student is not fully motivated, student has other
Mhm.
things and stuff like that. So I think it's only natural that students are not really worried about how you present yourself,
Mhm.
how you position yourself. Students, I think, will take another student's word. If the student says, you know
Mhm.
what, I went to this guy, he trust me, go to him, he'll do the job.
And
That's
funny
what the
story,
student wants
Jagmohan,
to hear.
it just
uh,
happened with me like 2 weeks back only. So what happened is this guy came up to me last year for GMAT prep. Right, I'm not
right,
gonna name him. So he
right,
came and said, say, I heard of you and I wanna prepare GMAT from you. So I was like, कहाँ से सुना मेरा नाम? So he said,
okay.
I searched these all ads and all. So मैंने बोला ads तो बेटा मैं चलाता ही नहीं, बंद कर दिए हैं. सो इज नहीं सर, लिंक्डइन वगैरह उस पर हमने देखा और आपका सो सर मेरे को क्लासेस चाहिए आपसे. तो मैंने बोला ठीक है, आई जस्ट टेक द क्वांट, आई कैन नॉट ऑफर द कंप्लीट. सो ही जस्ट वांटेड द क्वांट सेक्शन एनी हाउ. So what I did, I enrolled him
Right.
and I started like taking his classes. After 3 or 4 classes, he was like, uh, "Sir, GMAT ना मेरी है नहीं है." तो मैंने बोला मेरे को डे वन से पता है वो. ठीक है. And even though when he was enrolling, I told him, dear, see, GMAT is altogether a very different ball game. So what you have to do is you be smart. Be smart as in you can go for GRE.
Karun, sorry, I missed when you said GMAT. He said he's not here
No,
to
no.
take
He
GMAT at
said
all, is it?
GMAT is not for me. Once he started preparing, so he said कि
Oh,
sir
right, right,
GMAT
right,
मेरे
right, right.
बस का
Okay,
नहीं
got
है.
it, got it. Oh,
So
okay,
initially,
okay,
only
okay.
I
Got
told
it,
him
got it.
that see GRE, GMAT, the universities are now accepting GRE as well instead of your GMAT. But if you are going for, yes, if you are
Oh,
going
okay.
for example, a master's degree in management, or you're particularly going for MBA, so GMAT is preferred, I would say. But still, many of the universities have
Okay,
started taking GRE as well, right? बट प्रॉब्लम ये होता है कि
okay.
जो कन्वर्जन रेट है वो बहुत क्रिटिकल टफ हो जाता है. सो इफ यू आर फॉर एग्जांपल यू आर स्कोरिंग 600 प्लस ऑन योर GMAT, so that would be somewhere around that score
Hmm,
equivalency would be somewhere around 315 320 on GRE, which is again not that easy to score, but as compared to GMAT it's quite easy, right? So I told him कि भैया you can
hmm,
take GRE. So he said sir नहीं मेरे से नहीं होगा. And then he started making
hmm.
excuses, सर मेरे कुछ फंक्शन है, ये है सर, फैमिली इश्यूज हो रहे हैं. मैंने बोला डियर रिफंड चाहिए. So he said yes sir. ठीक है. मैंने बोला रिफंड, नो प्रॉब्लम. Funny story, Feb में he came back to me this year and he was like, sir मेरा GMAT exam है
Okay,
April ये March में, so I want to take my exam, so can you like prepare me for these 3 4 topics. So मतलब are you sure this time you wanna like crack it, मतलब वो कर लोगे, अब समझ आ जाएगा वो. So he said sir I've been preparing myself. What happened was he joined some other institute and he somehow found कि नहीं यार मेरे से नहीं हो रहा है. So he came and he was like very feared कि सर क्या होगा सर, क्या होगा. मैंने ठीक है, quant part I'll handle, don't worry. He took his exam भी recently and quant में I would say initially जो उसने अपना पहला एग्जाम लिया था उसमें he scored 41 42 on quant. By the way, quant GMAT में quant maximum you can I've heard of score or you can score is 51, right? So he ended up scoring
okay.
48. And I think
Wow.
I gave him around 8 hours or 9 hours of classes. That is it, and that took me around 19 20 days. 19 20 days I wrapped up his
Right.
4 टॉपिक्स की जगह भी वो भैया ने 6 टॉपिक खींचे हैं मेरे से कि भैया सर 6 करवा दो, ये कोई बात नहीं. तो अभी मानोगे नहीं, अब उसने क्या किया, ही स्टार्टेड रेफरिंग हिज फ्रेंड्स. अभी उसका एक फ्रेंड है, शी
Right.
एनरोल्ड फॉर
Right.
GRE एंड शी एनरोल्ड फॉर एडमिशंस एज वेल. शी सेड आई डोंट वांट टू हियर एनीथिंग, आई डोंट
Right.
वांट, प्लीज डू इट, बिकॉज आई काइंड ऑफ फील अ कनेक्शन. मतलब आप मेरी बिल्ड हो चुकी है आपके साथ रहो. सो अगेन रेफरेंस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. मार्केटिंग वो चीज़ नहीं देती. मार्केटिंग अगेन आप जो कंपनीज की बात
Yeah.
कर रहे हो ना,
Yeah.
सी कंपनीज दो तरह की हैं. एडटेक कंपनीज majorly 80 90% I would say even 95% companies are after students money. So what they want is they want to mint the money
Right.
out of you, extract each and every drop, any penny that
Right.
you can give, and then they are like कि सर आपका नहीं हो रहा है, ये है जो भी है. My job is exactly
Mhm.
opposite of it. ठीक है, पैसा नहीं है, कम कर लेंगे, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, बट
Right.
सलाम है, I cannot counsel you wrong. I cannot send you to the wrong destination, right? I cannot send you to the wrong course.
Right.
So
Right.
whatever counseling I do, it's for free. People even charge for the counseling section. I say it's free for me. What I can do is, again, अगर आप सही ट्रैक पे जा रहे हो, if I can help you to get that track, I'm more than happy to help you without any money sort of thing, right? So people are going for money thing. I don't. They want the money out of
Right.
you. I want the scores out of you. I want the best universities out of you. You give me that, I'm happy. Because see, my belief is बहुत different है. Instead of minting money at this point of time, right? uh, just think about the references they're gonna give me after a year or two. ठीक है, तो अभी जो
Yeah.
मैं उनसे
Yeah.
पैसा
Yeah.
ले लूंगा, अगर
Exactly.
मान लो मैं उनको बोलता हूँ कि आई चार्ज दिस hefty sum, राइट, दे तो देगा वो, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, क्योंकि GMAT GRE स्टूडेंट्स आर, they are probably going for their, like they are mostly going for their masters, and most of them are earning, राइट. तो पैसा देने में उनको कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. अंडर ग्रेड के साथ होता है क्योंकि पेरेंट्स को पे करना होता है, उनको नहीं करना होता है, वो दे तो देगा. बट ये है कि समवेयर बैक ऑफ द माइंड अगर उसको वो ड्रीम यूनिवर्सिटी नहीं मिलती है या कुछ है, तो उसका रहेगा यार इतना पैसा खर्चने के बाद वर्थ नहीं था, राइट. I'm doing it for,
Right.
trust me, I'm doing for what people charge. I'm doing it for 20, 30, 40%, I would say. Okay, but still I'm getting the best out of them. I'm giving
Okay.
them the best. So I'm not thinking about abhi ka wo meko hefty amount. Meko exponential, since I'm a maths teacher, bro. So मेरे को वो प्रोग्रेशन एक्सपोनेंशियल मेरे को कर्व दिख रहा है कि भैया एक की जगह मेरे को दो स्टूडेंट, उसका जो पैसा वो एक बारी में देता, मेरे को दो स्टूडेंट से तीन गुना मिल जाएगा. So
Right.
it's all
Right.
about what you want out of your organization. So my organization is working towards the student goals. Even my classes are custom made for the students. It's student oriented. My most of my classes are happening as, if you remember, you called me na. So I told you, Jagmohan, I have my classes.
Right.
So most of my students are taking classes like post 7 or 8. They are working students. So I adjust my classes according to them only.
Right. Right. Right.
I remember I've taken classes
Of course.
2 a.m. in the morning for a student who was in USA. I can do that. I can do that. I
Wow.
can adjust to it.
Right. Great. Karun, another interesting thing, right? You said this
Hmm.
guy took a refund, and usually it's not a pleasant thing to take a refund and then that whole thing. I don't think the relationships. I mean, it may not go bitter, but obviously one would imagine that it's not
Hmm.
going to restart again. But I think you did a great job there by being cool and still having him join you another time despite
Right.
getting that refund. I think that kind of proves. And then you got a bunch
Right.
of referrals from him. I think this is a very important lesson for all
Correct.
of the people that are listening. I think we should look at it
Hmm.
very objectively. Probably you didn't
No.
take things personally, I believe. You didn't take offense to
No.
him asking for a refund. And when he came back, you were pretty cool enough to let him
Yeah. Yeah.
come another time. That's great. There's something here because I don't know
Hmm.
if I had to give this situation
Hmm.
for 20 people. I'm not sure how many would. I'd be surprised if more than two or three people
Hmm.
say that. Yeah, I'm cool.
See, the fun thing
They
is,
can come.
it's only a
Okay.
matter of like, what's I'm gonna take. He might have paid me
Right.
like, for example, I would say what people are charging. I must have, as I told you, I've charged only 30, 40%. I'm giving
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
tremendous classes. He's liking them. He's like having fun in the maths section. So that is fine with me. So my funda is those 3 4 classes he enjoyed. At least I was able to like help him to learn some concepts that he was blown away in the first class. He was like, sir, what are you doing? I was like, this is what we do. So he said like, sir, ये अभी तक फंडा किसी ने नहीं बताया है, trust me sir, you are too good. मैं ना भैया ठीक, I know it. देखो, I'm not
Right.
bragging about it. I don't have this habit. I don't want to do it. I know what I'm doing. I know I'm good at it. ठीक है. It's just that it's a matter of
Right.
fact.
Right.
एक luck होता है, and there is, I believe in spiritual note में अगर लेके जाओ ना, so there is a time for everything, right? I know I'm very good,
Right.
but there's no point. मैं बहुत अच्छा हूँ. People don't know it. ठीक है. So I believe मेरा टाइम आएगा. जब मेरा टाइम आएगा तो ठीक है,
Great.
जो अभी अभी पैसा कमाने से वो कोई बात नहीं, उस टाइम पे मेरे पास आ जाएगा. सो एवरीथिंग हैज टाइम. गॉड हैज
Right.
प्लान्स. सो लेट्स वर्क अकॉर्डिंग टू हिम ना, अपने हिसाब से नहीं चलते हैं. उनको जो करना है वो करने दो.
Correct.
My part is to deliver what. See, my thing is to justify. अगर मैं, even if I'm taking 10 rupees from you, Jagmohan, just I'm gonna solve this sum for you for this 10 or 100 rupees. So my thing is I have to justify that 10 or 100 rupees. At the end of the day, it should not be कि
Right.
सर आपने पैसे तो ले लिए बट वो चीज़ नहीं है, मतलब वो नहीं आया. So my funda is कि भैया student either gets blown away or he's liking it, otherwise I can tell him bhaiya you're not for me, or this test is not for you. It's better you like wrap it up it now यहाँ पे. And I'm okay with it giving refunds, even though industry के standards में भैया refunds नहीं होते हैं. No doubt whatever you do refunds नहीं होते हैं
Right.
जी, हम refunds नहीं देते हैं. I didn't take a I didn't like take it even 5 minutes. I was like, whatever you say, it's just for you, ठीक है. If you are not, so there is no point ना. मैं उसको कंटिन्यू करके भी मैं जबरदस्ती कंटिन्यू करवा भी लूँ तो देयर इज नो पॉइंट. जब उसको 3-4 क्लासेस में समझ आ रहा है कि मेरा नहीं हो रहा है या मेरे को नहीं वो हो रहा है मेरे से, सो व्हाट्स द पॉइंट ऑफ टेकिंग द होल कोर्स विद हिम. It's just that I'm
Correct.
not valuing money, his money. I'm valuing my time. So if I'm giving you this effort, so I deserve
Yeah.
that.
You want to work
Right.
with somebody
Because
who's
if I'm
interested
putting
to
so
work
much
with you.
effort, ठीक है, because I'm one of those teachers, हम क्या करते हैं. So for example, it takes me around 35 hours to wrap up GRE quant sessions. So I have 19 topics which I've
Right.
segregated, and 19 sessions जो हम लेते हैं, I can wrap up your GRE in 34-35 hours, right? So 2-3 months back only मैं
Right.
आपको बताता हूँ. So 3 students, a group enrolled with me, right? And trust me, they were good
Mm.
students. I would not say very weak, not that great, but
Right.
they were good students and seemed interesting. And
Mm.
we had a repo, fun classes and all. Jagmohan, I gave them like
Mm.
55 hours of classes. I could have charged 20 hours more,
Right.
right? I never did. I
Right.
just the money initially I took for 35 hours. It's just that मैंने बोला कि यार आपको मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ ना. I believe those 20 hours are more than sufficient, or मतलब these are required for you to have, right? I'm doing it for free. I don't want any money. So it's all about what you
Right.
are getting in return. So what I get in return is, first of all, their results. Second, there is a repo. See, my students are always I एक स्टूडेंट है, मैं उसका एग्जांपल लेता हूँ. सो अंडर ग्रेड के लिए सैट के लिए वो आया था उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में मेरे से पढ़ने, एंड ही वाज वेरी वेरी बैड, आई वुड से, एज पर हिम. वीक था, मैं कहूँगा वीक स्टूडेंट. नो स्टूडेंट इज बैड फॉर मी, नो स्टूडेंट इज वेरी गुड फॉर मी.
Of
So
course.
I
Of
start
course.
off
Yeah.
with my classes as of every student is at zero level. Even though you are from IITs or you're
Zero.
from
Yeah.
Stanford or you're from a very government college, I don't care. Okay, each and every student is equal for me. So he said कि सर मेरे से मैथ्स
Right.
नहीं होगा, मैथ्स इज नॉट माय कप ऑफ केक सर. 10th के बाद छोड़ दिया था. मैंने दैट्स
Right.
माय पार्टनर डूड. व्हाई दैट्स काइंड ऑफ एन इंसल्ट फॉर मी. आप मेरे को कह रहे हो कि सर नहीं होगा, मैं कह रहा हूँ मैं करवाऊंगा. ठीक है. सो ये सर कि सर आप क्वांट में ना मेरे को, सो बाय द वे सैट हैपेंस, सैट इज लाइक फॉर 800 क्वांट, 800 योर वो. सो उसने बोला कि सर आप मेरे को 800 में सर अगर आप 600 दिलवा दो ना, सो मेरे को मेरा ड्रीम कॉलेज मिल जाएगा. मैं मोर देन सफिशिएंट सर, आप जो कहोगे मैं वो करूँगा, मैं पार्टी दूंगा. ये मतलब just do what I'm doing. ठीक है, let me do what I'm doing, just do what I have told you in the class. So write homeworks, write sheets and all, just solve it. Jagmoni ended up scoring like around 710, and he was like sir,
Wow.
मतलब कुछ नहीं, बस मेरा काम था, मैंने कर दिया, राइट. वो इतना मेरे को रिगार्ड करता है कि वेन एवर ही इज बैक इन इंडिया ना, ही मेक श्योर ईदर ही गिव्स अ विजिट टू मी इन माई ऑफिस, और एटलीस्ट मेक श्योर
Right.
कि सर एटलीस्ट 1 या 2 बार कॉल तो करके पूछ लूँ, सर कैसे हो, क्या चल रहा है, ये है. सो रेपो बिल्ड करना बच्चे के साथ इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. मनी कमिंग
Yeah.
चलता रहता है यार, दिस इज पार्ट ऑफ लाइफ. व्हाट आई बिल्ड इज आई बिल्ड कनेक्शंस.
Right.
सो कनेक्शंस इज द की.
Beautiful. Karun,
Yeah.
going back a little bit, wanted to ask you a couple of things. One is about, building rapport with students. Uh, it's not everybody's cup of tea. For somebody, it comes naturally, probably looks like, it comes naturally to you. But if it doesn't come naturally to somebody, if you had to break it down, what are the basic things that they need to focus on?
See, I would say इतना आसान नहीं है रेपो बिल्ड करना स्टूडेंट के साथ. एंड obviously this comes from experience. So when I was naive, when I started off with so I won't say I felt my classes are boring also, right? It's just that again,
Okay.
persistence is the key, as I told you. Just keep on trying, keep on giving things, keep on trying different things which suits the students. So first of all, experience के साथ you will
Right.
get to know कि what this student wants. Okay, some student
Right.
might be weak in this particular topic, so I need to work on that particular topic. अगर मैं उसको सारे टॉपिक्स मैंने बस
Right.
लाइक फॉर व्हाट ट्रेनर्स डू इज कि सर मेरा कोर्स खत्म करवा दिया, व्हाट रेस्ट यू कैन डू इज प्रैक्टिस. Dude, ये बच्चा खुद भी कर सकता था. Why would he spend a hell of a money, this much amount, and he'll come to you
Yeah.
on the first place? He said कि सर ये तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ ना. ठीक है. एंड मोर ऑफली क्या होता है कि अभी रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर्स चल रहे हैं, राइट? बाय द वे, आई एट प्रेपस्टर आई
Mm.
नेवर एवर गिव यू द रिकॉर्डिंग्स एंड आई डोंट बिलीव इन लेक्चर्स, रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर्स. So my classes are live classes.
Mm.
So like for example, I'm talking to you, so my classes are fun. Like I can crack a joke, I can make you solve the same question, I can make you solve another thing. ठीक है, I can अगर आपको concept नहीं समझ आया, you can ask me there and then again I can explain it to you. Recording में क्या problem आता है?
Yeah.
The worst part is, so 5 to 10 questions recorded and you just give it, and just is that is course की course enrollment चाहिए ना. course enrollment करवा लिया बच्चे का, और बच्चे को वो घिसे पिटे 10 क्वेश्चन आपने दे दिए और वो बार बार वही देख के सीखता रहे. ठीक है. GMAT GRE changes consistently, like they change their question every month. The question changes, right?
Okay.
So for example, even if you are like giving a mock test na, the official mock test, so even then after a month or two
Mm.
they give you a new mock test जिसमें question वो होते ही नहीं है, सारे change हो जाते हैं. तो जीआरई तो वो आपको सेम क्वेश्चन दे
Mm.
ही नहीं सकता ना. सो विद इन 2 3 4 वीक्स दे चेंज द क्वेश्चन.
Right.
सो सेम रिकॉर्डेड
Mm.
सेशंस बार बार सुन के वो बच्चा क्या करेगा, मेरे को ये समझ नहीं आता. पीपल आर लाइक सर आप रिकॉर्डिंग नहीं देते हो. मतलब इफ यू नीड द रिकॉर्डिंग ना, सो यू
Mm.
बेटर गो टू सम इंस्टीट्यूट जो मतलब इसमें मोनेटाइज करना चाहता है. आई डोंट वांट. मैं आपको क्या कह रहा हूँ कि इफ यू वांट लर्न समथिंग, आपको नहीं समझ आ रहा है, यू आस्क मी वंस ट्वाइस थ्राइस 5 टाइम 10 टाइम्स 20 टाइम्स, आई एम देयर फॉर यू.
Right.
राइट.
Right.
व्हाट हैपेंस इज कि अगर मैं आपको रिकॉर्डेड सेशन दे देता हूँ, आप वही सेम क्वेश्चन रिपीट करके वो खुश हो जाओगे, अरे मेरे को आ गया. नहीं. जीआरई जीमैट इज so they're so smart. What they do is they can give you a same question in 3 4 different ways, just word play. सो ऐसे कि यार अगर मैं ये इसी क्वेश्चन को चेंज कर दूं आपको, सो हु इज गोना टेल यू कि इसको ऐसे भी कर सकते हो या इसको ऐसे भी आप प्रेजेंट कर सकते हो क्वेश्चन को. सो दैट आई बिलीव इज ओनली व्हेन यू गिव लाइव लेक्चर्स. तो ऑनलाइन लेक्चर्स में भी माय क्लासेस यूज्ड टू लाइक आई यूज्ड टू टेक द फिजिकल क्लासेस आल्सो. बट नाउ आफ्टर पोस्ट कोविड ना, एवरीवन वांट्स टू गो फॉर ऑनलाइन क्लासेस एंड ऑल. सो एवरीवन इज सर ऑनलाइन पढ़ा दो, ठीक है, कौन इतना दूर आएगा. ठीक है. तो बहुत बहुत सारी चीज़ें हैं जो मैटर करती हैं. तो रेपो बिल्ड करने के लिए फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल एक्सपीरियंस कम्स विद टाइम. यू कीप वर्किंग हार्ड ओवर इट. ठीक है. ठीक है. सो होना क्या, आपको करना क्या है. सो स्टार्ट इंडल्जिंग योर सेल्फ. ठीक है. इन टू द टॉपिक. स्टार्ट गिविंग देम द कॉन्सेप्ट्स विच दे वांट टू नो. मेक देम ईजी. मेक ईजी थिंग्स. अगर आप उसके लिए ईजी नहीं है, देखो बुक्स के अंदर जो फॉर्मूला आप दे रहे हो दैट इज ऑलरेडी नोन टू देम. नो. सो व्हाट एक्स्ट्रा थिंग हैव यू डन. ठीक
Correct.
है. सो बिल्ड करने के लिए आपको क्या करना
Right.
पड़ेगा, आपको खुद इंडल्ज करना पड़ेगा. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं अपने जीआरई या जीमैट के जो भी मैं क्वेश्चन देता हूँ, सो आई टेल माई स्टूडेंट्स यू डोंट हैव टू स्पेंड इवन अ पेनी ऑन बाइंग एनी मटीरियल. वाई इज दैट? बिकॉज आप जो फॉर एग्जाम्पल जो मार्केट में इन है, बुक्स लाइक मैनहट्टन, प्रिंसटन, केपलिन, ऑफिशियल गाइड्स. ठीक है. सो व्हाट आई हैव डन इज, अब मैं अपना एग्जाम्पल लेता हूँ कि मैं कैसे बिल्ड करता हूँ. तो इंडल्ज मैंने जब अपना प्रेप्स स्टार्ट किया था, सो आई न्यू कि सम डे और द अदर आई विल हैव जीआरई जीमैट स्टूडेंट्स विद मी. इनिशियली मेरे पास नहीं है, बट आएंगे. तो आएंगे तो मैं उनको एक्स्ट्रा क्या दे रहा हूँ. तो एक्स्ट्रा मैं उनको ये दे रहा हूँ कि एक जो मेरे कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, जो मेरे शॉर्टकट्स हैं, मेरे ट्रिक्स हैं, जो मेरे क्लासेस हैं, वो आपको और कहीं नहीं मिल रही हैं. फर्स्ट. सेकंड, अब वो जो क्लासेस मैं आपको फॉर एग्जांपल माय हैंड आउट एज 100 क्वेश्चंस, राइट. तो वो 100 क्वेश्चंस मैंने ऐसे नहीं रैंडमली अक्कड़ बक्कड़ बम्बे बो और ये आपको क्वेश्चन दे दिया. नहीं. Dude, I've solved around 600 questions myself, and I've picked the top 100 for you because I know what's this question gonna test. So I want my students to think out of the box.
Right.
ठीक है. सो यू नीड टू गिव दैट एफर्ट.
Right.
अगर आप वो एफर्ट मार रहे हो ना, ठीक है, और वो स्टूडेंट को दिख रहा है एंड यू मेक इट फन फॉर हिम. लर्निंग शुड बी फन. ठीक है. रेपो अपने आप बिल्ड होता है. ठीक है. एंड सेकेंड थिंग इज, नेवर एवर लाइक टेक देम इन द अदर डायरेक्शन जस्ट टू लाइक टेक मनी आउट ऑफ देम. लाइक डायरेक्शन वही एंड में घूम फिर के आ जाती है कि अच्छा जीआरई कर लिया तो एडमिशन भी कर लेते हैं, वीजा भी कर लेते हैं. जस्ट गिव देम द राइट थिंग. जस्ट लाइक गाइड देम. इट्स उनकी मर्जी है यार, वो आपके साथ करना चाहते हैं नहीं करना चाहते, कंटिन्यू. सो जस्ट ऑलवेज डू राइट थिंग. आप जो उनको बताना चाह रहे हो, जो काउंसिल भी
Right.
कर रहे हो, सो ऑलवेज गो फॉर द राइट थिंग. सो पीपल व्हाट दे डू इज जस्ट टू लाइक एनरोल करने के लिए कि नहीं ऐसे नहीं, लेट हो रहे हो, ये हो रहे हो. सो नहीं यार, दे हैव टाइम यार, लेट देम डू. मेरे पास ऐसे स्टूडेंट्स आए हैं जो इंस्टीट्यूट से पढ़ रहे हैं, बहुत फेमस इंस्टीट्यूट ब्रांड्स के साथ पढ़ के आए हैं, उनसे फैकल्टीज, नेम नहीं करूंगा मैं किसी को। I've taught them, I've taught them and they were like कि सर आई डोंट नो what's ये मेरे को समझ नहीं आ रहा है कि जो आप चीज़ पढ़ा रहे हो, ठीक है, हाउ कम दिस सीम्स सो डिफरेंट। तो मतलब बेटा डिफरेंट तो हो ही नहीं सकता। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल इट्स नॉट रॉकेट साइंस, ठीक है। जितने भी एप्टीट्यूड टेस्ट हैं, ट्रस्ट मी, नॉट इवन टेंथ लेवल मैथ्स, मैथ्स में अगर मैं बात करूँ तो इट्स ऑल टेंथ क्लास,
Right.
राइट, एक्सेप्ट फ्यू टॉपिक्स, परमिटेशन कॉम्बिनेशन एंड ऑल, स्टार्ट्स, और ये थोड़े बहुत टॉपिक्स हैं जो आप अपने 11th 12th में, अपने 11th ग्रेड या 12th ग्रेड में लेते हो, अदरवाइज इट्स ऑल बेसिक मैथ्स। सो इट्स ऑल अबाउट कि
Right.
आप उसको क्या दे रहे हो, कि मैं उसको शॉर्टकट्स दे रहा हूँ, मैं उसको ट्रिक्स दे रहा हूँ। इफ आई कैन गिव यू अ क्वेश्चन एंड यू कैन सॉल्व इट इन 5 minutes, अदर स्टूडेंट कैन एज वेल, but GRE GMAT would not give you that much
Yeah.
amount of time na? So they want you to solve the question in under a minute.
Right.
So if I am giving him a logic or a concept, उसको ऐसे समझा दूं कि he is able to solve this 2 minute 3 minute question within 30 seconds, उसको क्या चाहिए और यार आपसे। सो इज लाइक कि सर
Yeah.
मेरे लिए तो आप हो, तो टाइम लगेगा, तो आपको एफर्ट मारता रहना एज अ स्टूडेंट। लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल मैं भी स्टूडेंट था, मेरे को कई चीज़ें नहीं समझ आती थी कि ये कैसे है, पूछने जाओ तो वही रटी रटाई चीज़ें सोचने को मिलती थी। तो उस टाइम पे जब आई स्टार्टेड विद प्रेप्स्टर ना, सो आई हैड कि यार ये चीज़ भी नहीं करनी है मेरे को, ठीक है। सो मेरी क्लास एंड में तभी करूँगा जब स्टूडेंट कॉन्फिडेंट है कि आज सर आज का टॉपिक बहुत सही है, मज़ा आया, ठीक है। नहीं मज़ा आया मेरे को, मैं कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं हूँ, मैं नेक्स्ट क्लास में आई रिपीट दैट टॉपिक फॉर यू अननोइंगली। आपको आपको मैं नया टॉपिक नहीं
Right.
करवाऊंगा, एज आई टोल्ड यू नो 35 to 55 hours आई टेक दैट वे। आई एम नॉट हैप्पी विद माई क्लास ना, आई एम नॉट सेटिस्फाइड, सो आई टेक इट अवे, ठीक है। सो जस्ट वर्क इन द राइट डायरेक्शन, जस्ट थिंक फॉर स्टूडेंट्स, पहले स्टूडेंट्स लाओ, पैसा अपने आप आएगा।
Got it. And the point you made about, you don't believe in recordings and stuff like that. I think uh, one point that, it made me think was when there is your plan B or a safety net or a backup, you might slack at what was the plan A, right? Because, for example, when you know that you're going to get the recording of the class, you may or may not be
Yes.
100% during the class. If there is a little difficulty, whatever it is, if you're feeling a little sleepy, you may choose to kind of give in to that, thinking that, you know what, anyway, there's recording. So maybe that's
Right, yes, very
something
yes.
to think about.
What happens is कि स्टूडेंट टेक दिस एज लिबर्टी, नो, सो दे आर लाइक कि यार रिकॉर्डिंग तो एनी हाउ मेरे को मिल ही जाएगा ना, तो ठीक है, नहीं आया कोई बात
Yeah,
नहीं।
yeah,
वो नहीं है इज दे आर नॉट गेटिंग दिस फैक्ट कि भैया अभी नहीं समझ आया ना, तो अभी पकड़ा नहीं, प्रैक्टिस नहीं किया, तो बाद में भी नहीं आएगा। एंड GMAT GREs हैड वुड टेस्ट
right,
यू ऑन
right,
दीज
right.
थिंग्स ओनली, ठीक है। अगेन मैं सेम एग्जांपल
Yeah,
ले रहा हूँ जो मैं
yeah,
अपने स्टूडेंट्स के साथ लेता हूँ। सो फॉर एग्जांपल आई हैव 5 स्टूडेंट्स एंड आई एम गिविंग यू हाफ एन आवर टू सॉल्व 5 क्वेश्चंस। आई थिंक मोस्ट ऑफ यू विल डू इट, it's more than sufficient, 6 minutes per question is too much, but मजा तब है। और GRE GMAT भी यही करेगा आपके साथ, SAT भी यही करेगा, they'll give you less than 2 minutes to solve this question, so now they want you to solve these 6 questions
yeah,
under 10 minutes। तो भैया वो तब होगा जब आप प्रॉपर अपने कॉन्सेप्ट्स को टिप्स पे लेके गए हो, यू आर वेरी मच अवेयर ऑफ इट, राइट। रिकॉर्डिंग का एक और
yeah,
नुकसान क्या होता है, अगेन आई हैव टोल्ड यू वही वाला पार्ट, कि सेम चीज करके क्या करोगे। So if you are, for example, in next class, Jagmohan, you come to me कि Karun, I didn't get this concept यार, मेरे को नहीं समझ आया। So मैं क्या करूँगा? I'll again give you the funda. I'll again teach you this. So rather than going through the same question, I'll give you another question. एंड मेरे पास एक और अच्छी एक चीज़ है, लिबर्टी है।
right,
मेरी लाइव सेशंस में क्या होता है, रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर्स आर व्हाट आई वुड से, दे आर बोरिंग। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल व्हाई, वो घिसे पिटे 10 क्वेश्चन मान लो, 10 से 15, उसमें से सम आर इजी, सम मीडियम, सम हार्ड, ठीक है। दैट इज नॉट जस्टिफिकेशन टू द क्लास you have। For example, I have all good students, they are sharp, so if I'm making them do easy and medium questions, that is waste of time for them, no, right?
correct.
So what,
It
as a
is.
live lecture
Yeah,
trainer मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, I can up the pace, ठीक है, मैं लेवल बढ़ा सकता हूँ, मैं लेवल डाउन कर
yeah,
सकता हूँ, ठीक है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई हैव अ
yeah, yeah,
मिक्स ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स, मेरे पास मीडियम लेवल भी हैं स्टूडेंट्स, यहाँ हाई लेवल
students.
जिनका IQ बहुत अच्छा है, बहुत अच्छे मैथ्स बैकग्राउंड भी बहुत अच्छा है, इंजीनियर्स हैं। सो इंजीनियर्स आर मोस्ट प्रोबेबली गुड एट मैथ्स until and unless they sit in my
Yeah,
class, just joking। so what happens is कि एडजस्ट नहीं कर पाऊंगा ना, अब मैं अगर इजी क्वेश्चंस करवा रहा हूँ, so that is a waste of time for the good student। if I'm making the class do hard questions only, मीडियम वाला कहीं नहीं जाएगा। सो रेपो बिल्ड करने का एक और लॉजिक भी यही है, मतलब एक और तरीका है कि ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड द नीड ऑफ द स्टूडेंट्स, ठीक है। स्टूडेंट की क्लास क्या बैठी है, उस क्लास में कितने स्टूडेंट्स हैं जिनको समझ आ रहा है, इंटरैक्ट विद देम। सो व्हाट, अगर आप इंटरैक्शन
Right.
नहीं रख रहे हो क्लास में, सो आई हैव दिस हैबिट कि अगर स्टूडेंट नहीं बोल रहा है ना, तो मैं उसी को पकड़ के फिर क्वेश्चन उससे पूछता हूँ, क्योंकि इंटरैक्शन बहुत ज़रूरी है। अब आपने अपना लेक्चर डिलीवर कर दिया कि ओके डन विद द क्लास, कोई कोई यू आर नॉट अ गुड टीचर। यू माइट बी यू आर गेटिंग स्कोर्स, या जो भी आपके पास नंबर्स आ रहे हैं एक्स वाई जेड, यू आर अर्निंग लाइक करोड़ अ मंथ, आई डोंट केयर, बट स्टूडेंट को हेल्प नहीं कर पा रहे हो, जो आपका नाम सुन के, जो आपके लिए इतना मतलब टोल लेके इतना वो सब। सी स्टूडेंट भी, आप स्टूडेंट की जर्नी को भी आप इंपॉर्टेंट समझो ना। सो स्टूडेंट की जर्नी आई वुड से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, क्यों? सो उसने किसी का रेफरल लिया, वो उसको ट्रस्ट करके आपके पास आया है, एंड ट्रस्ट में वो रेफरेंस पे डायरेक्ट एनरोल नहीं कर रहा है, वो पक्का फॉर श्योर स्टूडेंट की टेंडेंसी होती है, दे
Yeah.
दे हैव गॉन टू 2 3 4 डिफरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस, दे हैव टेकन द डेमोज, वो सब छोड़ छाड़ के उनको कैंसिल आउट करके ही इज कमिंग टू यू ना। सो यू हैव टू जस्टिफाई योरसेल्फ।
Right.
ठीक है, सो देयर इज अ
Right.
वे, वो प्रॉपर चैनल फॉलो करना है आपको।
Right. I think another point that I take away from the from this piece is that, to all the listeners, another thing that you can use to become a great teacher, or to build rapport, is forget the students who are already very engaging. I think you need to go after the students who are
Yes.
probably quiet. Kind of ask them the questions. It's not to say that go force them or do something like that. Very, just be at it, kind of keep asking them questions. Don't go away from what you're doing in
Right.
class. Just do the same thing,
Correct.
but then talk to them. I think that should help them. For them,
Yes.
that will be a little bit better.
some
Great.
students some students sorry to
And
interrupt you, but some students, कईयों का ना हैबिट होता है, दे आर नॉट लाइक इतना फ्लेक्सिबल नहीं होते हैं क्लासेस, ग्रुप क्लासेस के लिए कुछ है, ठीक है, एंड दे वांट टू एनरोल देमसेल्फ
right,
फॉर 1 to 1। सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मैं उनको खुद मना करता हूँ एज अ ट्रेनर, कैन यू बिलीव आई एम टेलिंग देम नहीं यार कॉस्टली पड़ेगा, ठीक है, आई नो योर लेवल इज गुड। सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज व्हेन अ स्टूडेंट कम्स टू मी ना, सो मैं बैकग्राउंड चेक करता हूँ, ठीक है, एंड आई टेक अ डेमो, एंड डेमो हैपेंस इंडिविजुअल। मैं कभी कंबाइंड डेमो, ग्रुप डेमो यूजुअली नहीं लेता हूँ अनटिल अनलेस कि बहुत मैं ऑक्यूपाइड हूँ।
right,
सो उस डेमो क्लास का एक पर्पस क्या होता है, इट्स अ टू वे पर्पस। फर्स्ट पर्पस इज कि यू विल गेट टू नो हाउ गुड टीचर आई एम, कि मेरे कॉन्सेप्ट्स आपको समझ आ रहे हैं, द ट्रिक्स एंड फॉर्मुलाज इज वर्किंग फॉर यू और नॉट। सेकंड, मेरे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है, आई गेट टू नो कि स्टूडेंट का लेवल क्या है, कहाँ मेरे को कितनी मेहनत करनी है, क्या टॉपिक पे काम करना है, ठीक है। सो क्लास के बाद आई गेट टू नो कि कौन से स्टूडेंट हैं। सम स्टूडेंट्स आर कि सर नहीं मेरे को इंडिविजुअल क्लास, सो आई फोर्स देम नहीं, यू हैव टू जॉइन माय ग्रुप क्लास, आई डोंट हैव टाइम, इवन दो आई कैन सी, आई कैन चार्ज पर आवर बेसिस पे ना। मैंने उनको एनरोल कर लिया तो मेरे को तो पैसा आ रहा है भैया, बहुत अच्छा पैसा आ रहा है, बस कमा रहे हैं मजे में, है ना। आई डोंट वांट दैट। मैं चाह रहा
right,
हूँ कि सी जी आर ई जी मैट साठ ये सब, इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट कि आपने एग्जाम दिया, क्लियर किया और चले गए। वहाँ जाके भी आप इंडिविजुअल तो नहीं पढ़ सकते ना। ऑब्वियसली विल बी सिटिंग इन 100 पूल ऑफ कैंडिडेट्स विच आर लाइक एक्सपीरियंस एज वेल, आपके लेवल के भी आएंगे और आपसे एक्सपीरियंस भी आएंगे। सो वहाँ पे चुप रह के काम नहीं चलेगा। सो यू
right,
नीड टू ओपन अप विद स्टूडेंट्स ऑल्सो, वो ट्राई टू ओपन द स्टूडेंट एज वेल,
right,
ठीक है। वो लॉन्ग टाइम में उसी को काम भी करेगा और आपको भी काम करेगा, क्योंकि स्टूडेंट जब इंडल्ज करना स्टार्ट
right,
करेगा ना, तो वो तभी क्लास आपकी सीरियसली लेगा और वो इंजॉय करेगा क्लास लेने के लिए।
right, right. Yeah, surely these things matter. But on the same note, you've done classroom trainings, face-to-face trainings, and then you said you did some online classes for
हम्म,
people who were from other
हम्म,
countries and continents. But when it became full-time online, what was the transition like, Karun? Like from teaching in a
हम्म,
classroom setup face-to-face, and then how did you make that adjustment? And what are the hardware and softwares that you started, depending on to kind of make your
okay.
class the best possible
So
thing?
the transition was not that difficult, I would say, because I was already taking online classes. So the pandemic started in
Hmm.
January, I think. So we had to sit back at home and take classes from home only. So I was given this
Yeah.
writing pad from that organization as well. So, and obviously I told you कि पहले
Oh,
भी
okay.
we were taking classes online for the students abroad. So I
Hmm.
was quite
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
आई वॉज क्वाइट ओके विद द फैक्ट कि मेरे को उसको ऑनलाइन टीचिंग में मेरे को उसको पैड्स के थ्रू पढ़ाना है वो सब। तो आई हैड दिस राइटिंग पैड, सो वी यूज दैट ओनली। एंड नाउ ऑन माई ऑनलाइन
Right.
क्लासेज आर यूजली लाइक आई फॉलो माई गूगल मीट, गूगल जी मीट पे हम क्लासेस कंडक्ट करते हैं। एंड अगेन आई यूज द राइटिंग बोर्ड, द पैड आई हैव,
Hmm.
एंड आई शेयर माई स्क्रीन with them. And
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
what I do is initially I start with the topic, I give the concepts, I make them ask some questions, do some questions, and initially I increase the level, right? So yeah, so we are using currently Google Meet, and I use my writing pad and share my screen.
Great. Karun, you said, there was a time starting, somebody asked you to finish something in 25 hours, and then you were like, no, I need 35 hours. And then, you also said for a bunch of other students, you
Hmm.
spent 55 hours. Now, what is your least number of hours that you take, given, if you think the student is capable of, kind of, the student is not too
Mhm.
weak, the student is good enough. Worst case, I'd assume it's 55. The best case is how many
I've
hours?
wrapped up my GRE. One
Karan?
student was too good, and I knew that I don't have to see. It's all again. मैं बताता हूँ. So I divide my class in, for example, I go with the very basic questions, and then I go for the medium level, and
Hmm.
then I go for the harder ones. So for someone who is already capable, so what I do is I just give them the concepts, the shortcuts, and then we start with medium and high level questions. So there is no point of wasting his time. Easy questions he is
Okay.
probably going to do. अब मैं उसको 20 दूंगा ना, वो 20 कर लेगा. ठीक है. So what I do is my thing is to come up with the questions which I know he will face प्रॉब्लम है, उसको जो चैलेंज लगेगा, क्योंकि जीआरई पे वही पूछना है, उसने जीमैट पे वही पूछना है, उसको चैलेंज करेगा. सो व्हाट आई डू इन माय क्लास, आई चैलेंज देम. So I give them challenging question. I make sure we solve challenging questions. So my best GRE timing, I have wrapped up a course within 17 hours. I've wrapped up the course. He was too good, and उसमें भी I would say कि just the parts that I knew that he is he's lingering on, ये पकड़ रहा है नहीं, मतलब weak जा रहा है. So I took that part, and उसका मेरा main
Right.
motive था कि वो part को strong कर दिया जाए, and he did pretty well. He ended up scoring 164, I guess. GMAT में I've wrapped up the course in 28 hours.
Great. And these are, so you do mostly group classes,
I
right?
I
You don't do one on one
I
much
do
compared to group
both.
classes.
Recently, I've started taking more on one-to-one classes. See, it's all seasonal
Got it.
thing. So
And
what happens is, so uh, as you know, कि
uh,
अभी admissions का process, it's all about this time. So people have started getting admits, and most probably most of them, 80% of them started working on their visas, right? So this is the time
right,
that
right,
for the new admissions, and most probably new students, for example GRE GMAT जो prepare करना चाह रहा है, who's making their plans, so they'll come up and approach to you in the month of May, right? And from month onwards till November and December, जब तक वो अपना एग्जाम नहीं लेते हैं, so you have this coaching period. तो उसमें क्या होता है कि सी इफ सम स्टूडेंट रिक्वायर्स कि नहीं सर मेरे को तो पढ़ना ही ऑनलाइन है, आपसे वन टू वन है, आई एम रेडी टू पे दिस मच, मेरे को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, तो ठीक है कोई बात नहीं. सो उसके लिए फिर हम क्लासेस उसके अकॉर्डिंगली अकोमोडेट करते हैं. अदरवाइज मोस्ट ऑफ माई क्लासेस आर ग्रुप क्लासेस, एज आई सजेस्ट स्टूडेंट्स को, वाई यू आर वेस्टिंग योर टाइम इन मनी भैया, आप ग्रुप क्लासेस में करो ना, इंटरेक्ट भी
right,
करेंगे
right.
और थोड़ा
Yeah.
मज़ा भी आएगा, थोड़ा फन क्लास भी बनेगी. अभी रिसेंटली क्या हो रहा है कि आफ्टर डिसम्बर जनवरी व्हाट हैपेंस इज द स्टूडेंट्स हु आर ऑलरेडी रनिंग लेट फॉर एडमिशंस, सो दे समहाउ दे गेट अप from the sleep and सर मेरे को भी करना चाहिए मैट. So in that case, we don't have pretty much like the group classes, so we take the individual one-to-one sessions only. So abhi recently I've been taking, I've taught like around 4 to 5 students recently in a month or back, month or two. I've taught five students for GRE and GMAT combined for individual sessions.
Got it. Karun, you said,
Mhm.
you're a quant guy, and then you have other people to do the other parts of the test, like,
Right.
verbal and other stuff. So, when you started Prepster, it was just
Right.
you doing only quant. At
Mhm.
what point did you choose to get other people to do
Mhm.
other topics? What was the thought process behind that? What are the advantages or disadvantages of, why didn't you just continue doing
Mhm.
only quant? And because the reason I'm asking is this, right? You must have thought about it already. When you are the only one who's teaching, all the risk is
Mhm.
within your control. You know that you can control all the things, it's not going to slip. But when you bring in somebody else, you
Mhm.
can only do so much. You're slightly depending on them on behalf of
Mhm.
the brand Prepster. So how did this whole thing pan out?
Mm. So as I told you, so Sira, verbal was lagging. Like what happened is when I got these initially when I got these two students, so they were like, "Sir, अगर quant भी आप quant को तो करा ही रहे हो, what if you do the verbal?" So I said I don't take verbal part. So and initially before enrolling them, I told them I'll be taking just the quant sessions. So you cannot expect that I'll do the verbal part, and that is not part one. तो आप कहीं और से enroll करके आप उसको पढ़ सकते हो. There are so many teachers. If you want, I can give you the share some numbers as well. ठीक है. But again, होता है स्टूडेंट का एक बिल्डअप एक होता है ना कि दे वांट टू स्टिक टू यू और थ्रू योर चैनल दे वांट टू गो राइट. So within 2-3 months I realized कि everyone wanted कि सर वो भी करा दो सर, वर्बल भी करवा दो सर, आइल्स करवाओगे सर, आइल्स है, टॉफल है. So at that point of time कि I thought कि नहीं यार सिंगल ठीक है, if even though I am capable of handling everything, I am handling all these things, but obviously I cannot take English. Verbal is not my forte, right? So I had to hire someone. Initially I hired one verbal faculty. अच्छा मेरा एक और फंडा होता है कि आप कह रहे हो कि डिपेंडेंट है, सो वी नी आई हैव टू डिपेंड ऑन हिम और हर कि see if I have done my part right, my quant score is a very good student, got a great score, but verbal में lag कर रहा है. So again prepster का वो मिशन नहीं था मेरा. So what I do is I make sure that whoever I am hiring, so uh, that process goes through myself. Like I do the process. So what happens is there is an interview, right? So
Right.
interview
Right.
may I'll ask you some questions. I make sure I make those questions myself. I arrange the questions myself, and then as a student I would love to know that why this option choice, or what's the thought process behind putting this answer, and why choosing this answer over that, right? So after that interview and after all the things that happen, so I decide whether he or she is a good fit for Prepster or not. Because at the end of the day it's all about scores. ठीक है. क्वांट में आई कैन गिव यू
Yeah.
800 में फॉर एग्जांपल सैट में यू गॉट 780 790 आई कैन गेट यू दैट. बट यू एंडेड अप स्कोरिंग 600 ओनली और वर्बल, तो आपका स्कोर रुक गया पीछे. आई नो यू आर अ गुड स्टूडेंट, यू कैन गेट 15 प्लस 1500 प्लस, राइट. तो प्रॉब्लम ये हो
Right.
गया कि वहां पे स्कोर रुक गया. सो फैकल्टीज हायर करना इंपॉर्टेंट तब हो गया था कि जब आई everyone wanted to like they started asking for it, and also I somehow felt कि why not give them a complete package. सो अभी प्रॉब्लम क्या हो रही है, स्टूडेंट मेरे
Right.
पास आ रहा है, उसको प्रॉब्लम ये फेस करना पड़ रहा है, ही और शी हैज टू गो फॉर अनदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, वहां पे उसको कोचिंग. अब उसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या
Another
होता है
role.
कि
Yeah.
क्रेडिट शेयर भी
Yeah.
हो जाएगा. क्रेडिट कैसे शेयर होगा
Hmm.
कि
Hmm. Hmm.
वर्बल
Hmm.
वहां से
Hmm.
पढ़े, वर्बल का
Yeah.
स्कोर इतना अच्छा नहीं आया बट क्वांट बहुत अच्छा गया, बट ओवरऑल स्कोर अच्छा हो गया, तो अरे हमने बस स्टूडेंट को पढ़ाया है, राइट. सो बैक टू द पॉइंट, मेरा थोड़ा ये भी था कि यार मेरी इतनी मेहनत पे क्रेडिट कोई और नहीं लेगा इतनी आसानी से, है ना. क्योंकि
Right. Right.
इतनी आसानी से वो मेरे को क्रेडिट नहीं ले देंगे कि वर्बल अरे आपने तो सिर्फ क्वांट पढ़ाया ना, आप सिर्फ क्वांट की बात करो, आप ओवरऑल स्कोर की बात मत करो. सो आई वांटेड प्रेपस्टर टू बी अ प्लेस फॉर
Right.
a student that I can start the whole thing here, and the good मतलब may he or she will have the best lectures they can have and the best course they can have, right.
Right.
अभी initially अब मेरा so अब तो बहुत मैं आई हैव मूव्ड बहुत आगे उससे. सो इनिशियली अभी आप मेरे पास काउंसलिंग के लिए आते हो. So from preparing you for your this standardized test along with your English proficiency test, I can shortlist university for you. Okay, I can guide you on your admission process. I can like
Right.
write your LORs for you. I can write your resume. I can write your SOPs. I can even help you with the applications, filing the application, and also with your visa. So my thing, जो मेरा एक main aim था, that was to give you end-to-end solutions. You just have to come to me, approach me. If you find me a good fit, आपको लगता है कि यार ये काम कर सकता है, मेरे को fruitful है. So you just have to enroll with me.
Right.
Every other thing would be taken care by Prepster Education.
Great. I was going to come to the next. My next question was, at this point, you started off as just the quant guy. You obviously didn't start Prepster with a mission of teaching anything else, but then you, I think, very logically and practically told why the situations kind of force anybody to kind of
Right.
offer a complete package. And I'm sure that's only become bigger and bigger. At this point, Karun, what is Prepster all about? If you have to say, what is Prepster? What are the services that you offer?
Okay, so see, my venture Prepster, first of all, it's a Delhi-based study abroad group, as people might not know, and I am offering you like a thorough and expert tutoring for various standardized tests like SAT, ACT, GRE, GMAT, IELTS, TOEFL. Okay, and I have like the team which I've built बहुत मेहनत लगती है, so it's highly experienced people, and we strongly believe in getting the highest scores and good admits for you. ठीक है, एक कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम मेरे को आपको देना है, ठीक है, एंड दैट इज टू लाइक which I would say cater to the individual needs of every student, right? Every not every student is same, तो मेरे को उसके अकॉर्डिंगली उसको प्रोग्राम, उसको स्ट्रक्चर्स, उसका एडमिशन, उसके बारे में बात करनी है, right? So at this point of time, we are offering you, we can start with the standardized test preps, and then I can help you with the profile building. I can shortlist universities for you as per your profile. See, again, not that easy part. अभी होता क्या है कि बहुत सारी organizations, everyone knows कि बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ उनका collaboration and all, ठीक है, बट अगेन मेरा फंडा ये नहीं होता है. आई फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई डू नॉट कोलैबोरेट विद एनी sort of university. So what I do is I use my experience, ठीक है, and I use other tools जो मतलब माइंड में मेरे चल रहे हैं. So I see कि whether this student would fit with this score or with this profile into this university, because again this comes from experience only. आप इतनी जल्दी अगर आप कहो कि you want to become a counselor, study abroad counselor, और आप students बाहर भेजना start कर रहे हो, so not until and unless you are sending them to your collaborated university, that is a different case. But if you really want to help them out with the good universities and everything, so it's gonna take ये time लगेगा आपको. तो शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग से
Right.
लेके हेल्पिंग यू विद द फाइलिंग द एप्लीकेशंस एंड गेटिंग द बेस्ट राइट अप्स फॉर यू. बाय द वे, आई डू नॉट हैव दिस फॉर्मेट. हम राइट अप्स के लिए कोई फॉर्मेट नहीं रखते हैं. बहुत सारे ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्या करते हैं, सो दे हैव द फॉर्मेट रेडी फॉर एलओआर्स. So what they do is just change the name, position, and title, and all those things. So my write ups, each and every
Yeah.
write up, I would say, is from the scratch. So my writer itself, he's very experienced guy. He's been writing this write ups for I would say he has like written write ups for more than 20,000 students now, more than 10 or 15 years of experience.
Wow. Okay.
So our write ups
Okay.
are top notch. ठीक है. After that, filing applications, getting the good admits, I can counsel you कि whether you should choose this university, pros and cons क्या है इस university के, जाना है नहीं जाना है. If you decide that आपको यहाँ जाना है, then I'll help you with the visa process. So we counsel.
Admits counseling is what
Right.
you were talking
So
about.
what I can do is I can shortlist universities for you as per your profile, and that too again keeping in mind which university suits you well. Right. It's not just about collaborating. जो universities मेरे साथ collaboration में वहाँ से अच्छा खासा मेरे को पैसा मिलेगा नहीं. If I feel that you have this capability of doing that, first of all मैंने आपको बताया मेरी collaboration कोई नहीं है. So each and every university is done. Like it has to be a good university, and usually my target is that every student who comes for admission for me, so he or she should get admitted into टॉप 100 यूनिवर्सिटीज ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. वर्ल्ड रैंक क्यूएस रैंकिंग्स हम फॉलो करते हैं, तो उसमें टॉप 100 रैंकिंग के अंदर ही अगर उसको यूनिवर्सिटी, मेरा ट्राई रहता है कि एडमिट उसको वहीं से मिले. एंड यूजली व्हाट माय स्टूडेंट्स डू इज दे अप्लाई फॉर 5 to 6 यूनिवर्सिटीज विद मी. एंड ट्रस्ट मी व्हेन आई एम सेइंग कि
Right.
बाय द टाइम आई अप्लाई हिज फोर्थ और फिफ्थ यूनिवर्सिटी, they already have admits from 2 or 3 good universities, तो उनका काम हो जाता है आराम से. अच्छा, so I can help you with your
Right.
write-ups. Again, our write-ups are top notch. The guy who's writing the write-ups, he has the experience of writing more than 20,000 write-ups for 20,000 students, I would say, and it's from scratch. We don't follow any format or something. Usually organization क्या करते हैं कि नाम और डेजिग्नेशन और वो सब चेंज करते हैं, बाकी सेम रहता है. बट दीज डेज एंड इनिशियली ऑल्सो यूनिवर्सिटीज आर वेरी स्ट्रिक्ट विद प्लेगरिज्म. ठीक है, तो हम स्क्रैच से स्टार्ट करते हैं. इट्स ऑल अबाउट योर थिंग. So we build a story
Right.
kind of thing. So I give you a set of questions that you'll have to answer. That goes to my writer along with your resume. So firstly, we'll build you with your resume. Resume goes to the
Got it.
writer along with your questionnaires जो आपने आंसर किए, inputs दिए, and then he'll make a
Right.
draft out of it. एक story बनेगी. How many paragraphs do we need as per कि university की requirement है 800 words, 2 pages, 1 page, double spacing, single spacing, and all that thing. And after that, getting you admits, filing your applications, ठीक है, getting your admits, admission accept करना. And if you want our services, we can help you with the visa also. So I usually joke with my students कि इतना कर सकते हैं कि भैया T3 टर्मिनल तक छोड़ाऊंगा, उसके बाद फ्लाइट खुद पकड़नी है आपको. उसमें कर उसमें करूँ सर कुछ नहीं कर पाएंगे आपके लिए.
Great. So, if somebody wants to go go for higher
Mhm.
education out of India, they can just come to Prepster for everything
Most
end to
welcome.
end solution, from starting with test prep, until the point of choosing the colleges and then trying to get into it and
Right.
stuff like that. Great. Okay, Karun, couple of topics that I have in my
Mm-hmm.
mind is one is about the tools. You just said you use
Google
Google
Meet.
Meet and then stuff like that. So what's your process like? Your process of teaching involves mock
Mm-hmm.
tests, a lot of practice papers and all those things? And if you do that, how do you do that? Is it like done at the student's place? Is it not digital? Is it not a computer, or do you use some other
Okay.
platform for that?
So first of all, Jagmohan, all these tests, most of the tests, in fact, I would say SAT, GRE, GMAT, all have gone online. Even IELTS has, have
Right,
gone online, right? So what
right,
I
right.
believe is students sometimes they ask for they want the handouts to be in hard copy, or they want the tests to be in hard copy. So what I tell them,
Oh,
I can provide you with all those hard copies if you want, but that is of no use to you, dear, because since you will be taking your test online, so you need to familiarize yourself with the
yeah,
computer part, right? So some students
yeah,
are, sir, I'm weak with the writing part. So we suggest ki either you start working on it, or for example, IELTS can help you with that. So IELTS, mein what you can do is, if you're not good at typing, so what you can take the written test. You don't have to go for computer based tests. But most other tests
right,
at GRE and GMAT, they are computer based tests only. So what's the point of
right,
practicing looking at the question from your book and solving them on paper, right? So rather you see the questions on the screen, and then like it will just like be imitating the test, right? So
correct,
as you're talking about, so material that I provide, I usually we go with the official guide. So I believe official guide is the main thing. Okay, but let
right,
me make sure to all the listeners, even my students who are listening, so let me tell them कि भैया official guide solve करना would not help you in any way. It's not just official guide that you'll solve and you feel कि अरे मेरे को आता है मैं कर लूंगा. Don't be fooled by GRE or GMAT भैया. ठीक है, these are just to give you an example. The actual questions on your test would be way different. ठीक है, since I've been a trainer, ठीक है, and I've trained myself for GRE GMAT. I've given appeared for GRE GMAT 4 or 5 times, so I know what test is asking for, right? So what,
right.
so again that comes the handouts that I provide you. First of all, you don't require to build, you don't require to buy any sort of material. So as I told you, if I'm
Hmm.
solving 600, 800 questions just to get 150, 100 questions for you, dude, I am doing something which you don't know. So unknowingly,
Right.
you are solving the top questions that you can get for your exam prep, right? So you have already solved, for example, 19 topics would contain somewhere around 21 to 2300 questions. My handouts are, I would say, good. Students actually say कि sir काफी अच्छे हैं और काफी question challenging भी हैं. So that is what I do. I segregate the topic. So for example, GMAT में I go for sub 600, 600 to 700 level questions. I give you those, and then following the document, the later part would have 700 plus level questions. So I tell them, don't go for 700 plus questions. Start me class करने के बाद, don't be a hero, right?
Right.
Just
Right.
try what you have learned in the class. Just try over easy question. Some easy questions जो मैंने दिए हैं, even though they are easy, but I know कि वो concept बहुत अच्छा test कर रहा है. So I would want you to know that first before you move to 700. Same goes with GRE. I give you
Right.
medium level questions, and then you go for hard level questions, combining अलग अलग practice जो question के set होते हैं. Followed by, once you are done with the course, so we go for the set of questions जो हमने solve किए हैं. So I tell them to make an handout, एक excel sheet बनाते हैं. Excel sheet में जो उनके question के doubts हैं वो accumulate करेंगे. So either they can ask me like after the class, or they can ask for a doubt session individually in a group usually. So we solve that. So once we are done with that handout once or twice, so at that point of time, we now start preparing the student for their actual test. So now is the time,
Hmm.
since they have done each and everything that they could. अब इससे ज़्यादा concepts नहीं पकड़ पाएगा वो, अगर समझा भी दूंगा तो it's not gonna work, क्योंकि हर एक student का एक level है,
Right.
उसके बाद is not gonna pick it up. ठीक है, and
Right.
these tests are so like so beautiful that you must know when you are actually at your peak. So it follows a
Hmm.
normal distribution. I believe it follows a normal distribution curve. So when you are at your peak, it's just about you take your exam, you'll perform outclass yourself, right, or everyone.
Hmm.
If you're
Hmm.
taking it
Hmm.
before the peak, सो कहीं ना कहीं आप गड़बड़ में रहोगे, ठीक है। इफ यू आर टेकिंग आफ्टर द वीक तो गड़बड़ तो हो ही गई है, ठीक है। आफ्टर
Mm.
दैट व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज, वंस वी आर डन विद द प्रैक्टिस मटेरियल, द हैंडआउट्स, सो वी स्टार्ट विद द मॉक टेस्ट। द मॉक टेस्ट यूजुअली जो इंडस्ट्री स्टैंडर्ड चल रहा है, दैट इज केपलन, प्रिंसटन, मैनहट्टन। What I can give you, I can like I usually give 6 to 8 practice test material, and that too online, which actually imitates exact आपका GRE GMAT SAT का ये जो टेस्ट चलता है वो आप,
Oh wow.
या
Okay.
सो यू, इट्स अ टाइम्ड सीरीज। सो उसमें क्या होता है, एज एज पर जो आपका एग्जैक्ट जो एक्चुअल पेपर होगा उसमें भी आपका टाइमर चल रहा होगा। सो इसमें भी टाइमर है, यू फॉलो द सेशंस, सो एवरीथिंग एज पर योर एग्जाम। सो बहुत सारी चीज़ें उसमें, उस एट दैट पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम वी टेल द स्टूडेंट व्हाट टू डू, व्हाट नॉट टू डू during your test while
Right.
you're practicing. So once we feel that he or she is ready, so it's us, it's actually me who tells them that this date, this tentative date, like within this week, coming week, or this coming 3 4 5 days, you should appear for your exam. So if you are taking it after it, तो आप प्रॉब्लम में रहोगे भैया, आप अपना कहीं ना कहीं टॉपिक लूज करोगे। इफ यू आर टेकिंग बिफोर इट,
Mm.
तो भैया आप ऑलरेडी बुक कर चुके हो, तो उसमें आई कैन नॉट हेल्प यू आउट। सम स्टूडेंट्स आर देयर जो मतलब दे वांट टू सरप्राइज मी कि सर मैंने तो टेस्ट बुक कर दिया है, तो मैंने कहा, ठीक है आप प्रिपेयर्ड नहीं हो अभी, एंड दे आर लाइक सर, तो मैंने कहा, ये आपको पूछना चाहिए था पहले ना। सो अंटिल अनलेस आई टेल यू दैट यू आर डन and you are now good to take test, don't do it ना, let the trainer do it for you. if I am giving you this liberty कि यार मैं आपको बताऊंगा आपको टेस्ट कब लेना है, तो आप अपना दिमाग मत लगाओ। until unless you come to me कि सर मेरे को एग्जाम 2 या 3 महीने के अंदर लेना है, तो मैं उसके हिसाब से प्रिपेयर करवाता हूँ आपको। so if you are trusting me on it, trust me till the end, right? So once we are done with the mocks, so I'll let you know when to appear for it. And I don't know, it's a god gift or what. I somehow before the exam tell the students their exact point scores. I somehow within, I would say, accuracy of 4 to 5%, मतलब जो गड़बड़ होती है 95%, 96% टाइम्स वो स्टूडेंट का स्कोर वही आता है। तो व्हाट आई यूजुअली डू इज, आई राइट द स्कोर्स ऑन माई नोटबुक, ठीक है, एंड उसमें मैं उसको सर्कल करके रख लेता हूँ, ठीक है, एंड उसकी फोटोग्राफ खींच लेता हूँ। तो स्टूडेंट क्या कहता है, स्टूडेंट कहता है सर भेज दो, मैं क्या नहीं भेज सकता अभी। वो होगा क्या कि उसके बारे में फिर he'll keep on thinking,
Yeah, yeah,
अरे
yeah.
नहीं
That's
यार ये तो कम दिया है सर,
I
ये तो ज्यादा दे दिया, अरे
love.
मैं खुश, मेरे बहुत अच्छा आ रहा है। सो जस्ट अब व्हाट हैपेंस इज, अब लगेगा लोगों को यार ये क्या है, ये तो बाद में भी हो सकता है चीट। सो बेस्ट थिंग हैपेंस इज, सो आई नो देयर टाइमिंग, सो आई नो देयर एग्जाम स्टार्ट्स लेट्स से 10, ठीक है, तो 10 के बाद तो 10 से पहले भी वो फोन नहीं उठाएगा ना। सो राइट एट 10 10:30 आई सेंड दी
Okay.
फोटो
Right.
of that score on their WhatsApp. यूजुअली स्कोर वही आता है फॉर दिस गाय जिसका 48 आया। सो आई ही सेड सर आई नीड 47 48, 49 आ जाएगा, मैं आई लेट यू नो। तो उसको मैंने जब टेक्स्ट किया था, उसको जब फोटो भेजा था, तो दैट वाज रिटन 48 ओनली। सो इट अगेन कम्स फ्रॉम द एक्सपीरियंस, आई नो वो कहाँ लैग कर रहा है, क्या
Yeah,
कर रहा है,
yeah.
क्या नहीं कर रहा है। सो आई नो कि वो कहाँ आता है। सो यस, प्रेपरेशन एक सिस्टमैटिक मैनर से होना चाहिए। वो सिस्टम अगर आप फॉलो नहीं कर रहे हो, आप स्टूडेंट्स को फॉलो नहीं करवा रहे हो, सो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे 2 ढाई महीने आपके भी खराब हुए और स्टूडेंट के अलग पैसा और टाइम दोनों खराब हुए।
I think this is very interesting the way you said about that form, right? It's like pretty much because nobody has ever spoken about this particular thing. How do you? It makes sense. I think maybe from all that experience, you make them take so many mocks, and then you probably see them peak. They start off probably not scoring
Yes,
much, and then they score
yes,
something. And you're also saying that if you keep doing that, they're going to score less
yes.
at some point.
So what happens is, see यहाँ पे monotonous हो जाता है। So what you've been doing for last 2 3 months is, all you're doing is taking classes, solving questions,
Mm,
asking doubts,
mm,
taking classes,
mm,
solving questions,
mm.
asking doubts। At some point of time you feel like यार to hell with it, बस I'm done with it। वो डन विद इट फेज से
Mm,
पहले यू नीड टू अपेयर फॉर योर एग्जाम। उसके बाद तो भैया आपने काम खराब कर दोगे आप अपना, वो आप हमेशा वो स्कोर गिराओगे गिराओगे, क्योंकि नाउ, so once you have that feeling ना यार नहीं, आई एम गेटिंग बोर्ड नाउ, so what happens is on your actual test आप गड़बड़ करके आओगे, ठीक है।
mm,
इट्स
mm,
नॉट दैट जो यूजली ट्रेनर्स बात कर रहे हैं एंग्जाइटी और उसकी, वो तो है, उसका कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। दैट इज वाई टाइम
mm,
मैनेजमेंट
mm,
स्किल्स, हम टाइम मैनेजमेंट का स्किल्स यही सिखाते हैं कि भैया प्लेस अ टाइमर, एंड दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ
right.
योर प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन जो मैं करवाता हूँ। तो 2 3 तरीके से हम बताएंगे कि हैंडआउट्स कैसे करने हैं, कब सॉल्व करना है इसको, कब टाइमर लगा के सॉल्व करना है। सो दैट इज दैट पार्ट। एंग्जाइटी नो डाउट आप जितना मर्जी बच्चे को सिखा दो, जो है वो जिसको आनी है वो आएगी, ठीक है। एज अ ट्रेनर, वंस आई अपेयर्ड फॉर माई टेस्ट, जब मैं फर्स्ट टाइम मैंने एज अ ट्रेनर नया नया मैं देने आता था, सो इवन आई गॉट कि यार ये नहीं, ये क्या हो रहा है. सो दिस इज व्हाट इज मेंट टू बी फॉर दिस टेस्ट. ये एक्चुअली टेस्ट क्या करता है? सो इट्स नॉट चेकिंग योर नॉलेज यार. सिंपल सा लॉजिक है. इफ जगमन यू आर गोइंग फॉर जीमैट, आई एम गोइंग फॉर जीमैट. सो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल हम आज उठ के हम एकदम से हमने रेडी नहीं किया कि भैया मैं जीमैट देने जा रहा हूँ. नो one's gonna pay 18,000 19,000 just for fun sake कि मैं एग्जाम देने जा रहा हूँ,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
even GMAT knows, GRE knows that you have come well prepared, you know the concepts, you know the formulas. So how would you differentiate
yeah.
between the students? आपको भी concept पता है, मेरे को भी पता है. It's all about time management.
Right.
आप questions, number of questions कितने ठीक कर रहे हो उतने टाइम में, मैं कितने ठीक कर रहा हूँ,
Hmm.
तो उसी से segregation करूंगा ना मैं आपका. So
Right.
बहुत बहुत मैटर करता है उस चीज पे.
Okay. So, this has been, you've experienced that, students who take the test prematurely or, beyond a certain date haven't performed
Yes.
to the
यस.
peak of their
माई
peaks.
पर्सनल मेरा होता है. जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, फॉर एग्जांपल मैं रीसेंट एग्जांपल लेता हूँ. आई नो दिस स्टूडेंट हु केम टू मी इन दिस फेब और मार्च. सो आई न्यू हु कुड
Hmm.
हैव स्कोर्ड इजीली 49 50. I know.
Hmm.
But since he didn't have time, he already booked his exam. He came, सर मेरा एग्जाम बुकड है,
Right.
मेरे को इतना ही टाइम
Right.
है. सो आई टोल्ड हिम कि बेटा आप जनवरी फेब में आ जाते तो आई कुड हैव डन बेटर. क्योंकि एट द एंड ऑफ द डे व्हाट हैपेंड वाज ही एनरोल्ड, ही वांटेड टू एनरोल फॉर फ्यू मोर टॉपिक्स. सर ये भी करवा दो, सर ये भी करवा दो. मैंने बोला नहीं डियर, नहीं हो पाएगा. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, मैंने उसको मना किया है कि यू डोंट, आई विल नॉट मेक यू डू एनी मोर टॉपिक नाउ. इट्स ऑल अबाउट प्रैक्टिस. जस्ट प्रैक्टिस व्हाट यू हैव लर्नड सो फार, दैट इज इट. यू आर मोर देन इनफ.
Right.
सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज फोर के बाद आपने फोर की जगह मेरे को 6 टॉपिक का 6 करवा दिया, 6 की जगह एक और ऐड करवा के 7 करवा दिया. नाउ इफ यू वांट कि विद इन 10 15 डेज आई कैन गिव यू द होल कोर्स, नहीं मैं उसके हिसाब से मैं आपको पढ़ा ही नहीं रहा हूँ. अगर आप उसके हिसाब से
Right.
कोचिंग करना चाहते हो तो आप वो भी बताओ, मैं वो भी करवा देता हूँ. ठीक है. सो
Right.
आई नो. एंड एक्चुअली होता क्या, स्टूडेंट दिस as soon as he came out of the exam he called me and sir he said I bungled up. मतलब what happened? Sir I knew what questions I have done wrong. I know. और मेरे को पता है मैं क्यों गलत किया है. these are all silly mistakes. So again that I knew. क्योंकि वो नहीं है उस फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड में, नहीं है अभी. मेरे को पता है वो अपने पीक पे नहीं है अभी. सो ठीक है. बट
Hmm.
he got his desired quant score. So I'm happy for him.
Oh, cool. Okay. And he's on his way to his
Yeah.
admissions and stuff like that.
He's like even मैं उसको हेल्प कर रहा हूँ उसके एडमिशंस में.
Oh, you're helping
Yeah.
him out
Now
with this.
he
Okay.
has
Great.
enrolled
Great.
in admissions process.
Great. And Karun, you said you are based in Delhi. You're a Delhi-based test prep center and also admissions and
Right.
stuff like that. But so how do you look at Prepster now? Is it just a Delhi-based thing? The students who come are all only from Delhi, or are you marketing yourself pan India? How is it going?
Okay. So Jagmohan, marketing again, not the marketing guy, right? But I see Prepster as a community. I want my organization to be a community in coming 5 10 years, right? A community of people who have learned from Prepster, and in return can give or offer something as a help. For example, so they can be a mentor to a student who aspires to study abroad, right? They can they can be a part of a workshop organized by us. Like they can give the insights about for example, the student who has gone to USA. So he now knows each
Right,
and everything he is earning or settled, so he knows process in and out. So someone who can solve the questions or give you the inputs which is required.
right,
So
right,
that thing. And also soon enough, I'm not just uh, not just planning to be just the prep center. So as I told you, I want to help students with each and everything that I want. So what happens is abhi kya ho raha hai, for example, a student is already gone to, for example, Canada or Australia. Now they want is sir job lag gaya, sab kuch lag gaya, what about PR? We are confused with the PR process. So most probably in coming years, I've already worked in that direction. I've started working in that direction. So most probably Prepster would also help you with your PR, filing PR
yeah, right,
applications and all. So we can help you with that. And I aspire like I hope I can help the students even when you I've seen students facing problems recently. My one of my student is facing the same problem. So accommodation का problem रहता है. So you have secured the admission, you have given the deposit, you are going there, you have booked everything,
right,
visa हो गया, accommodation का problem आ रहा है. So if in future if I can like collaborate with people, or I can help them with their accommodation, their flights and all. मतलब I just as I told you na कि I just want प्रेपस्टर टू बी वन स्टेप डेस्टिनेशन, कि भैया यहाँ गए सारा काम ए टू जेड यही संभाल लेंगे, मेरे को कोई टेंशन नहीं लेनी है, दैट इज व्हाट आई वांट.
Got it. And where's your team size at now,
सी
Prepster?
मैं अगेन आई एम वेरी वेरी पर्टिकुलर विद द पीपल आई चूज. ठीक है. So
Right,
at this point of time, so we have two writers, we have three verbal faculties. I'm the only quant trainer because first of all, quant, so I love quant, teaching quant. Quant is my passion, right? And
right,
we have around I have one or two guys which helps us for visa. Mostly visa मैं outsource भी करवा लेता हूँ. ठीक है. But some students जो बहुत particular होते हैं तो उनके लिए we have this guy, so visa में help करते हैं. So we are a team of, I would say, 5 to 6 people for now, but mostly everything is being handled by me only. Again, बहुत particular हूँ मैं, मेरे को I want what I want. अगर मेरे को वो डिलीवर नहीं कर रहे हो तो I'm not happy with it. I'm happy, more than happy to let you go, because I don't want mediocre things here.
right, right. Got it, Karun. I think I've covered all the topics that I wanted to talk with you. Uh, Thank you so much. And before we end, I'd like to kind of ask you where, if a student, has seen this and if somebody wants to approach you, where should they contact you? What's the process? Stuff like that, all
Okay.
those things.
So first of all, thank you, Jagmohan, for having me. It was like it was a pleasure talking to you. And yeah,
Likewise.
so students who want to approach for either their prep program or their admission, or just they want to know the process and counseling thing. So एक रिक्वेस्ट छोटा सा ये भी रहेगा कि just don't come with blank thing, like don't come with a blank face. Just do your research, do something. ठीक है. I can only help you out if you know something. सो फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वन ऑफ द ट्रेनर्स जो मंजीत मंजीत सर ने आपको भी बोला था कि एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम यू हम उस लेवल पे हैं जहाँ पे वी कैन डिक्लाइन द स्टूडेंट्स, क्योंकि आई एम नॉट हेयर टू टेल यू व्हाट इज जी मैट, व्हाट इज जी आर ई. हाँ, मतलब कि एडमिशन में सर कैसे करेंगे क्या हो सकता है मैं बता सकता हूँ, बट आप ये क्वेश्चन लेके नहीं आ सकते.
Oh, you're talking about
Yes,
Mandeep Singh
sorry,
from the
sorry. Manjeet
other.
नहीं, Mandeep sir. Yes,
Got it, got
Mandeep
it.
sir. So
Right, right,
yes,
right,
so
right, right.
come with basic knowledge. थोड़ा आप जानो, बाकी rest assured मैं आपको काफ़ी help करूँगा और मैं आपको अच्छी knowledge दूंगा. For students who want to approach me, they can contact me through my website, which is prepster.in. You can also email me at karun@prepster.in, and you can even call me at 9899 527 869. I'll ask Jagmohan to drop it in the box.
Great. Okay, Karun. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that the listeners can take away, especially people who are aspiring to become trainers in the test prep arena and approaching students, teachers, who are wondering how to build rapport with students, and all of those things that you've shared.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jagmohan.